Today is a day for heroes, for giving the best that you can, for winning and losing and saying, good on ya! It's all in the game. All in the game. It's all in the game. All in the game. It's all in the name of football. Football. Central. Glenelg. North. Norwood. West. South. Stern. Torrance. Westley. Whiteville. 7. Football.
Good afternoon from the Elizabeth Oval. As you can see, windy conditions, and what a shame it is for Greg Edwards' benefit day in the fact that it is so wet. But that's the game of football. It's played in winter, and it's the completion of round 18. And as we look at the scores yesterday, we can see that West Adelaide and Sturt both produced big finishes to win. West against South at Adelaide, Sturt against North Adelaide at Football Park. Norwood kicked very straight against West Torrens at the Parade, and Port statistically looked to struggle against Woodville at the Woodville Oval, but at least they had a win. And as we look at the premiership table, we can see a big gap now between the two top sides and the rest of the competition. And we can also see the fact that if Central District can win today at Elizabeth, then they'll jump above North Adelaide and be putting the big pressure on Port Adelaide. As I said earlier, this day has been designated as the Greg Edwards Benefit Day, and just a few moments ago, Ian Day spoke with Dean Mobbs, the retired captain of the Central Districts Club, about Greg Edwards' contribution to the Bulldogs.
Dean, a big day for Centrals and a bigger day for Greg Edwards.
Yes, a big day for Centrals in the lieu of getting into the 5. We have to win. A big day for Greg Edwards because he hasn't been able to play football and for the loss of the eye. It's a pity that the weather isn't more conducive and in his favour to get more people here to support him, but I'm sure our supporters would be happy to donate to the box that's over in the club.
What's Greg been doing around the club since his unfortunate injury?
He spent 6 weeks away from the club on doctor's orders because it's very hard for someone who's involved in sport just to keep away and do nothing, so he had to keep right away from the club. He's now back on the track. He runs a few laps, plays with the ball for a while, generally watches training, but doesn't really get involved in training. He's just around the club to keep in touch with the players.
And the verdict is still the same. He won't play football again?
The verdict is the same as far as the doctors go. As far as Greg's concerned, he is going to do pre-season training next year, and we'll look at the situation from there.
Looking back over past full forwards for the Dogs, Greg's the only one that kicked a ton, but you've got Rick Vidovich, you've got Big Gary Jones, and then you've got Mick Daly, and, of course, Greg now. How could you compare the 4 of them?
Well, Gary Jones was a big full forward that he had to kick the ball in long to. He couldn't lead, and his main attributes were his marking and his strength. Mick Daly was more of a leading type full forward, but relied on the placement of the kick to achieve his goals. With Greg, he could do either. He could be on a fast lead or he could be in the square, so he had 2 options coming out. If you were under pressure, you kick the ball in long and you'd be very sure that Greg had put his hands on the ball, or if you come out of centre clear, you could be sure that he'd be on the lead, and again, good hands.
Rick Vidovich.
Rick Vidovich I didn't play with, but he's another player too that mainly relied on the fast lead to get his goals, and he only really gave you one option.
Really, then you're saying you couldn't compare Greg with any of those other 3. They're all different in their own right.
That's right, but I would say I've only seen Gary and Mick, and I would say Greg is the better of those 2.
And obviously, Dean, you're hoping for a big day, a win, and a big day for Greg as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the weather again is against us, and it's par for course apparently for Greg this year. Every function we've had we had another function during the year where there was something else on around the place, and we didn't get many people to that either. So I'd be looking forward to people within the area that follow the Dogs for the pleasure that he's given them to put some money in, put their hands in their pocket, and put some money into a tin that's over the other side for him.
Just for a moment, Dean Mobbs. Unfortunate to go out in this fashion.
Yes, it's always unfortunate to retire mid-season. You always try and make it through to the end of the season, but unfortunately I just couldn't handle the agony anymore, I suppose is the word, and I was forced into retirement.
From here, what are you going to do, coach?
I'd like to coach, yes, but my immediate aim is to try and help Centrals as long as possible and see if we can make the 5, and then we'll look at it at the end of the season.
Dean, all the very best for the future.
Thanks, Ian.
Rowe towards ball forward. Edwards marks. The free kick for Central Districts. Greg Edwards deep into the pocket. Edwards, a fine mark. Long kick towards the goal square. Edwards with a jump to take a mark, and he takes it beautifully. Greg Edwards joined the Bulldogs as a 16-year-old in 1978 and immediately made his mark, winning the club's best and fairest in the under-17s. He played his first league game in 1980 and impressed as a high-marking, straight-kicking forward. But it is 1982 for which number 52 will always be remembered. He started the season with a bang, kicking 29 goals in the first 4 matches, with bags of 5, 8, 10 and 6 against West, Woodville, Glenelg and Torrens. Greg continued his fine form until round 11. In the next 3 weeks, he managed just 7 goals, and with 62 goals in 13 games, found himself in the reserves.
Over the half-forward line, Edwards takes possession, a beautiful handball to Gillies, sets up a simple goal. Magnificent bit of play, Edwards. Half-back flanker and Graham comes forward, a beautiful handball to Greg Edwards. Straightens his body, makes absolutely no mistake.
Look at that kick of Mobbs to the goal square. Edwards from the back sets himself. Hangs in the air, and he's got to pay it. Took it off Spill. Spill tapped it backwards. Edwards with a chance, and he's taken the mark. Plays it on. Oh, yes, does play it on. Now he should kick the goal. Drop putt straight through.
Beautifully placed kick.
Reinstated in round 16, Edwards demonstrated great character for a challenge and skill for the game. In an inspired 4 weeks late in the season, he booted 32 goals, including 9 at Richmond and 11 at the Bay in 2 of Central's biggest matches in their run to the 5. The teenager became the first ever Bulldog to reach 100 goals in a season, with his second goal against Torrens in the last minor round game.
Magnificent fly.
The kick towards Edwards on a long lead off. Put one hand up, great mark.
A long one in towards full forward. Edwards, Williams, Wilbur Wilson. Williams, fine mark. Gee, he was pushed right underneath it. Oh, that's a bad mistake, Williams. Edwards into the open goal, and oh, what a mistake. Down to Wilson. Out goes the handball. Edwards into the open goal.
There's a chance. Rowe kicks long. Oh, it's one out. Behind is Edwards. He's taken it. Great mark, Edwards.
Up towards Edwards. In front, however, was Coolman. At the back of the pack, it's Edwards. I think he's dropping it through. In total, Greg Edwards averaged 4 goals in every league game he played and provided his club and its fans with many wonderful memories.
The crowd won't hold him the ball decision. Players stack up. Edwards has got it. He's dangerous. Oh, he's kicked it. Amazing goal, Edwards. 2 Bay players clash. Graham Corns underneath the ball, couldn't mark it. Out it comes from Edwards to Wilbur Wilson. The handball wasn't a good one. Platten knocked it forward. Here's a chance. Edwards. Oh, he got it. What an amazing bounce. It landed in his hands. Platten backs it up. Oh, he's got a ton of pace. Kernahan can't run him down. He kicked his boot off. Oh, Edwards has taken it. To centre half forward. One hand only. Edwards. 9 goals. 9 goals, Edwards.
Michael Wright, 10 metres out. Over in the square is Edwards, goal number 11. Oh, what a soda. Greg Edwards at his absolute best. Let's check on the teams for today. Firstly, Peter Marker. He's been checking out the Central District side.
Thank you very much, Bruce, and good afternoon. Yes, it certainly is polar bear country here at Elizabeth Oval. It's very cold, very windy, but it's going to be a very good game of football. We're just trying to organise an electric blanket for the commentary position. I guess anything's possible. It's a little bit difficult to find out exactly how the teams are going to line up, but I've been in the Central District room and this is what I've found out. They line up from the forward line, Platten, Bythene and Wilson. Across the half-forward line, Hearn, Robertson and Stephen Connolly. Across the centre line, Livesey, Peter Krieg in the centre, a bout of pneumonia. He's apparently recovered, but you might see him go to half-forward during the game. And Vivian, Mark Pryor, Trigg and Darren Clohessy make up the half-back line. Jamie Thomas, Peter Bubner and Stephen Boehm across that back line. In the first ruck, O'Neill, Van Dommel and Nosworthy. Interchange players, Collins and Bradley Wharton. That's it for the Central District side. Ian Day has the Glenelg side.
Thank you, Peter, and good afternoon, everybody. Once again, you're on the right side of the television set. It's wintry out here at Elizabeth. Well, the Bay coach, Graham Campbell, still feels the Bays can make the final 5, and so today is a must for them because they've got to win the rest of the games. And that all-important side lines up as follow. Tony Hall, Stephen Kernahan, Robin Kidney, a 16-year-old Year 11 matriculation student from Mitchell High School is having his first game in senior football at 16, one of the youngest ever, not the youngest of course. Tony Simons, Carl Fedke, Leon Twelftree. Across the centre line, Chris Duthie, David Marshall and Mark Hewitt. Half back line, Peter Maynard, John Seabohm and Snout McFarlane. The full back line, Scott Salisbury, Mike Farquhar and David Holst. The first ruck, Peter Carey, Chris McDermott and Tony McGuinness. The interchange players, Gavin Walsh and Alan Stringer. The players left out of the 23, Chris Herco, David Frost and Ralph Sewer.
Thanks, Ian. So we've got the Glenelg side and the Central District side. The players will be ready to come onto the ground after this break. Well, as we've said, unfortunately, it's not the best of days for the Greg Edwards benefit day, but the people that are here are giving Greg a great welcome, and the Central District's players have come onto the ground. There's a tremendous banner up saying, Megsy, you light up our life, as the Central District's players went through there. And I know there'll be a lot of people at home today that haven't been able to make it to Elizabeth because of the conditions. If you would like to contribute to the Greg Edwards Benefit Fund, the Post Office Box 10 Elizabeth 5112, that's Post Office Box 10 Elizabeth 5112. The gate takings from this match will be going to Greg's fund. Also, the Central District players are putting a portion of their match payments to the fund, and I know that Greg Edwards will get great support, not only from Central District fans, but from all football fans around South Australia. Greg will be tossing the coin. You can see him at the moment at the race as the Glenelg players come out, led by Super Carey and also Stephen Kernahan, and so it really is a big, big day. It's a good afternoon to Ian Day and Peter Marker. I had a bit of a laugh, Peter, with the electric blanket. You can't bring one down here, can you?
No, we've only got one, Bruce, and well, how much money have you got? You can buy it off us?
Not enough.
Bruce, you said good afternoon. You mean just afternoon, don't you?
Oh, it's not too bad, Ian, is it?
Well, it's football weather, and I'm looking forward to it because, Bruce, it is such an important game. Both teams still have aspirations of making the final five, and of course the Bays have got it a lot harder than Centrals, but if the Bays are going to make the five, they're going to have to win their last 5 games, and that's pretty difficult.
It is. They've got a hard run. They've got Port Adelaide at the Bay the week after next with the split round. I suppose if they win today, they'd start favourites against Port, and then they've got a couple of hard games. Nord, one of them, and I think they also have West Adelaide as well. So it is a tough proposition. But the interesting thing at the moment is the fact that North Adelaide and Port Adelaide are both struggling, and they're the two sides directly above Central District and the Glenelg. So we've got a very big 4 or 5 weeks coming up with 4 matches.
Yeah, I guess some of the interest in today's game is again we see some youngsters coming into the side or coming into league football, and young Kidney from Glenelg is an interesting one, and I guess you've only got to think back to a couple of years ago when players like Stephen Trigg and Peter Krieg and co played, and Trigg's been an interesting one, Ian. He's played in a variety of positions, wing, up forward, and also at centre-half back.
Yes, Peter, he's been a very fine acquisition. I liked him on centre wing, you know. He was taller than the normal centre wing player, but obviously Central's had a problem in the key out of defence position. They've put him at centre-half back, and together with Peter Bubney, you know, they've given themselves 2 very strong men in those key positions of centre-half back and full-back.
Yeah, Peter Bubney's an interesting one, Bruce. He's a very fine athlete, of course. Do you know much about his athletic prowess?
He's a very good high hurdler. He's the state high hurdle champion. He's also very good over the 100 and the 200. And there was some thought that he'd make a very good decathlete, but he'll need to be every bit as good as that today, because he'll be standing Stephen Kernahan. What a wonderful career Kernahan's had. He's only played 70-odd games, I say only, but he's an outstanding player. We're all hoping that he stays in South Australia. Carlton are very interested in him, but the Kernahan-Bubner duel today should be a beauty. Now, the other big duel, as we can see Greg coming out, getting a great cheer. What marvellous moment for him. So Peter Carey will come across, and it's going to be an important one to win. Whoever wins the toss will kick to the northern end. I wonder who'll call.
Still looks pretty fit, Bruce.
Yes, and it was interesting with Dean Mobbs talking to you a few moments ago, Ian, saying that Greg will do the pre-season work next year.
Right. Actually, Bruce, you realise
What a great player he really was. When we had a look at those highlights a little while ago, he had a lot of finesse, didn't he?
He did, and the fact that he averaged 4 goals a game is quite incredible. That's a marvellous performance, which means that had he had a normal football career and played 200 to 250, we'd be looking at 1,000 goals. He goes to toss.
He doesn't look that tall either.
Well, Peter won it. Peter Carey won it, and Glenelg will be kicking to the northern end, and it's an important toss, Ian.
Very important, and I think the breeze has got to be worth 3 or 4 goals, Bruce, but you were talking about competition and players who will vie against one another. There's going to be nothing more important than the roving duel between McGuinness and Platten. Now, McGuinness hasn't had his best season, but he's still a brilliant player, a very dangerous player. And, of course, Johnny Platten's come back after injury, and there's no question that Central District's prospects of making the 5 in 83 dimmed when Johnny Platten was unfortunately hurt and had to pull out of the side for those few weeks.
Yeah, I think that's his head of hair you can see there, right in the centre of that pack here.
How could you miss it?
McGuinness's 50th game today, by the way, and that's a good effort. And another young player from the Central District side, of course, is Collins, who looks as though he might have a big future. I think you've seen him before, Bruce.
Peter, his performance last Saturday at Football Park was absolutely outstanding. His reflex handball and his team sense was terrific for someone so young, and he'll come off the interchange bench and probably change with Peter Krieg throughout the day, because Krieg is suffering from, or was suffering from pneumonia, and Daryl Hicks is going to have a very good look at Krieg throughout the day. But Collins is an exciting player. Now, we mentioned young Kidney. He'd be used to heavy conditions because he played for Glenelg on Wednesday night in the Kookaburra Cup match that the Bays won. So what a week he's had. Kookaburra Cup Wednesday night, league match on the Sunday.
Another player that the Bays would like to go well is Carl Fedke. Apparently his kicking's been letting him down lately, Bruce, but, you know, they need a goal kicking forward somewhere along the line, either at, well, of course, Kernahan can, but, I mean, he's in the ruck a lot of the time, will play centre-half forward. Now, Fedke's a very important player to them, but he must kick goals.
Yes, I was going to say, Peter, really this year, if McGuinness and Kernahan don't get about 8 between them on any given day, Glenelg just hasn't kicked enough goals.
Yes, you're dead right, Bruce. That's where they've had their problem. They've kicked a lot less goals this year than last, and he is an important player. Peter Krieg is another one who is wanted over the border, but he's had pneumonia during the week, but apparently he's recovered.
Well, we're just about ready. Good calling, and we're in for a big game. A place for the 5, maybe, for Central District or Glenelg.
Thanks, Bruce. Well, the big one. The Greg Edwards Benefit Day, and a very important game for both teams if they want to make the 5 in 1983. And I suggest you the loser of these two this afternoon has got no hope at all. But only time will tell. Football's a funny game. Breeze favouring the northern end. The windsock over by the scoreboard is, well, it's half-mast. It's showing that it's got to be worth 2 or 3 goals. But, Peter, I'm surprised that the oval is in such good condition. I expected with the amount of rain that we had, it would be worse.
Yeah, it's very good, Ian, and it's a credit to the curator out here as well. He does a fine job, just as they do at Football Park. But conditions are pretty good. I think you'll still see the skills of football utilised here today. And Glenelg trying very hard to stay alive for 83. Bytheen got that one down. A high tackle, and you quite often see a free kick given early in a match like this. Norsworthy goes short. Bytheen. Bytheen is a player that hasn't had his best of years, but he's playing pretty well now. Well, Robertson's taken a good mark at centre-half forward, opposed to Seabohm. Vivian's the runner. The Central District side has started very well. Platten dives for it, takes a good mark. Oh, he's a very dangerous forward, Johnny Platten. Have a look at the desperation written all over that. He'd eat a football if you gave him the chance. Goals are going to be at a premium today. And the youngster has put it through. Have they certainly missed him during those hard games mid-season? Johnny Platten gets the first one for the Dogs.
Don't want to be uncharitable, but I don't think Peter Vivian's kick was meant for Johnny Platten. Watch him straight up now. He's normally a better kick than that, but it went off the side of his boot, and look at Platten go for it. That was a magnificent mark, and kicking into this breeze worth 2 or 3 goals, it was a fine goal as well. Incidentally, we just apologise for the interference in our audio. We're just trying to get rid of it for vision, I beg your pardon, and we'll try to get rid of it for you in just a moment. We're doing our best.
Van Dommel goes forward. Glenelg trying to come out of defence. Looks like they will be out on this occasion. Out of the centre of the ground went
Chris McDermott's handball. The Tigers go forward, and a good mark to Fedke. He's a big, strong lad at centre-half forward. Marshall gave him a chance. Fedke ignored that player. He goes very long to the square. Out comes a big run from Tony Hall. Couldn't take the mark. It's hit the post, a point. Well, the wind is certainly favouring that end of the ground here in the northern end, and you'd expect there to be a fair bit more scoring up there.
Certainly, Peter. That's why Central's goal into the breeze was so good. I thought it'd be very difficult to score this end, and it's good to see that it's not going to be that difficult. Pryor, a long kick towards the half-forward line. Almost a mark there. Coming strongly, Seabohm. In goes Connolly. Robertson. Vivian. Norsworthy. The Dogs go forward. Half-forward line. Bunga getting underneath the ball. Can't quite get there. Tapped away. Platten a chance. Wilson wants it out. Platten's going for home. He'll touch it on the ground. He could have two in the first 5 minutes. It's coming back. But I don't think it came back before it went through the goal. The Dogs stand went up thinking that the ball had come back, but it did, but after it went past the upright.
Talk about scoring against the breeze. Gee, when Platten gets the ball, he's got a lot of balance and a lot of purpose about him. He knew that if he ran up to the goal there, there'd be a big chance. 32 there is Van Dommel. Oh, very, very loose, the Glenelg defenders. An easy mark there for Hearn. Maynard is his opponent. Hearn is going to put it high. Platten comes up from behind. A big leap there from the Glenelg defender. Couldn't take the mark. Wilson. Oh, it's touched. He appeared to get his boot to the ball there. What did it come off?
I can't see who touched it, Peter, because to me he seemed to be past the Bay defence. Let's have a look at it in replay. Now, it's going to be Platten in the right of your screen that will get to the ball. Now, let's have a look. Oh, no, coming across there, the Glenelg player and David Holst could have had last jam at the ball, so that's fair enough. The Dogs go into attack again, up towards full forward. On the lead is O'Neill. Connolly's out there right on the line, and the ball goes out of play in the full forward left pocket. Central's off to a fine start into the breeze. 1-2, Glenelg is a point. Throw in about 20 metres around from the behind post. O'Neill against Carey. Super gets the tap away. Farquhar, who will look for McFarlane, but the handball wasn't good, and McFarlane is forced across the line again. Mercifully, the rain's not coming down at the moment. We've had plenty, believe me. Carey and O'Neill again. Carey never got started. Got the ball out, but he gave it straight back to Connolly. Hooks around with his left foot. This is going to be close. Seabohm just gets his hands to it, and off the fingers of the defender of the Bays, a point results.
Seabohm made good position there. It was a danger time for him. McFarlane in front. Couldn't take the mark. Salisbury. Carey. Played it like a rover. Then kicks it wide. Looking for Tony Simons. Pryor behind goes for the smash. Vivian recovers first. Van Dommel is going to get run down from behind. Backs it up well. Stephen Bohm a long way down from the back line. And Mark Pryor. That appeared to come off Maynard's boot. That's a little bit unlucky. Maynard doing the good defensive spoil there, and Pryor kicked into Maynard's boot and gets the free kick as a result.
Pryor from centre wing. Good mark. Oh, Robertson over to Norsworthy. Kicked in towards full forward. O'Neill comes to meet it. Platten's there as well. O'Neill needs someone. Bytheen. Platten. Good solid work there by the Bays to get it out through Fark. Salisbury got it out to him. Livesey can't get the handball away. Sock it off the ground to the outer side. Marshall and Krieg close to the line, and the ball is out of play. 139 points, Centrals. An injury already to John Seabohm. Looks to be around about the shoulder. Not a good start for the Bays. McDermott jammed it onto his boot quickly. Getting back looking for it, Cloesy. With him out the outer side there was 12-3. Jamie Thomas. He dropped that in a hurry. The ball trickles out of play.
Conditions not good at Elizabeth, as you would have heard earlier. The rain is coming down. Well, it's not a heavy rain. The wind is favouring the northern end. That's the end to which the Glenelg side is kicking. Van Dommel for the Dogs. Peter Carey a chance, but it will beat him out. Has it gone out? Yes, it has. Peter Carey gave up the race. I think the ball must have come back in again. Robertson is number 13 for the Dogs. He's a very talented player. Bytheen from behind. Carey got the knockdown, but Van Dommel leads in the race for the ball. Plays it well. The kick into the centre of the ground. It's the attack side of centre for the Dogs. Wilbur Wilson, very balanced player. On a lead now is O'Neill, but the kick is spoiled. Vivian. Back onto the left boot, short. Good mark at centre half forward. Gee, they're setting it up well. Robertson went down onto his knees then and took an easy mark. And the Central District side has certainly started a lot better than the Bays. 4 scoring shots to 1. And the Dogs are going against a fairly strong breeze. Probably worth 3 goals at this stage. Robertson has an unusual kicking action. He appeared to line that one up pretty well. That's a goal. The Dogs are now...
Out of bounce, McDermott. Grubbers one towards the half-forward line. The Bays need a score. They need it quickly. Marshall or the tackle appeared to be high, and the umpire's going to give him a free kick. Just inside the big centre square. Could almost make the goal square from there with the breeze behind him. On the lead is Kernahan. Bubner right with him. Kernahan won't get a leap. Fedke up. 12-3. Trying to paddle it. Leaves the football behind. And a free kick here will go to Cloesi by the looks of things for perhaps a push in the back. Or maybe he didn't have the ball when they grabbed him. Bohm short on the half-back line. Time is on Central's side. They'll be just happy to eke the ball out of defence. A good start into the breeze. Carey, fine mark. Brings it out wider. McDermott jams it onto his boot quickly. Getting to it, Thomas. Kernahan can't. McGuinness in the picture as well. Livesey puts it out in front of him. Quickly on the scene is Hewitt. McGuinness got rid of Hewitt, pushed him in the back, but McGuinness goes in high. Up towards full forward. Think it's going to bounce just the wrong side of the post. Or is it a goal? It's a goal. Well, I thought it bounced the wrong side of the goal, but a fine one. But how about that shove in the back to Hewitt from his own teammate, Peter?
Yeah, Glenelg have been struggling, but it's good to see that they've finally got a goal. Bruce.
Yes, Tony McGuinness in his 50th game kicking that goal. Central District wearing black armbands today because Philip Graham's father died during the week, so that's bad luck for Philip Graham.
Back to the centre of the ground now. Peter Carey and Peter Bytheen. Bytheen doing good work in the middle. Marshall gets the kick off the ground. Through goes Kidney. Got a good kick forward. Kernahan comes out. Or didn't one grab that? Hall goes down, pushes it out for Fedke. Triggs after it, so is Bohm, very close to the line. Kicks along the boundary line. Pryor and Simons. Pryor got one high and he'll take a free kick. Up goes Bytheen. Will Carey came in late, mowed down Marshall. Platten for the Dogs. In comes Kidney. Played it well. Takes it over the line for a ball in. He looks a tigerish sort of a rover, Ian, perhaps a player. Oh, good one.
Tigerish sort of rover. I agree, Peter.
Sort of guy that'll get in and get the ball, I think.
Very important, Peter. McDermott out the back. Krieg there with him. The tackle was high, said umpire Laurie Argent, who's joined this afternoon by Jim Field. McDermott, kick number 4, check side of centre wing. Obviously, he'll go long. He did. Up towards Fedke, too far for that pass. Simons can't. The tackle was high on Tony Hall, and I think you'll find that he'll get a free kick and should easily make the distance. Speaking of tigerish players, this fellow is so as well, and he's going to get his chance from 35 to 40 metres out. The Bays need a goal. It's his first kick. Need it quickly. Nice looking drop punt. I think it's going with the boot across the face of goal, and the umpire only says it's a point. 1-2 Glenelg, 2-3 Centrals.
Tony Hall, a very exciting young player. Very impressed with him. Only his 11th game. Peter Bubner will kick off for the Dogs. He'll come out to the grandstand side. Getting under it is Trigg, unopposed. Didn't mark it though. Hearn, the handball away, missed its target, close to the line. Bit of a push there, but no free kick paid. The Dogs a good start. 5 scoring shots for 15 points. Glenelg started very slowly. Fedke against Trigg. Trigg took him under the ball. Glenelg player went down there. There's Platten in after it, as he always is. Took it across the line, but he got a free kick with a push.
2 champion young rovers there. Platten and McGuinness together in the screen right now. As Platten gets another kick from the half-back line, he's in the action more than his counterpart at the moment. And a push is going which way? It's going to Carey. on the half-forward line. Hooks it high. Kernahan, Bubner right there with him. It's going to be difficult. Kernahan gets one hand to it, can't complete it, and coming away. Centrals get it towards the half-back flank through Van Dommel, and the ball goes out of bounds on the half-forward left flank of Glenelg. 2-3 to 1-2. Throw in. Fetke's going for it with Bytheen by the looks of things. First time we've seen Carl Fetke in the flesh. Platt gets the kick away towards centre wing, and that's a fine mark taken by Robertson. Geez, a long way out of his posse. He's down on the half-back flank from centre half forward at the moment. He puts the ball high towards centre wing. Breeze is taking it close to the line. McFarlane almost. Wilbur Wilson keeps it in play. Clever work. Stanley Matthews tight by Holst. That was off the fingers. Hearn says it's my ball. I think he thought he'd marked it. But most certainly it was touched off the fingers of McDermott, I think. And umpire Argent will come in and bounce.
I think you might see John Seabohm come off soon too, Ian. He's not very good with that shoulder or upper arm. A free kick there to Peter Carey. The crowd not too happy about that. The big super puts one up to centre half forward. It's not a good kick. Fetke coming in late. Oh, no one seemed to want it. McGuinness now got the handball wide to Marshall. He hooks around the body. It won't quite reach Kernahan. These conditions won't suit the big Bay star. He takes it over towards the boundary line. Kicks around the body. Tony Hall now for Glenelg. Lines them up. Not a bad shot, but offline. 1-3 the Tigers. The Dogs 2-3.
You're right, Peter. Chris McDermott coming off. The runner went out to him fairly quickly. Just who they've got to replace him, I would imagine, well, Bruce McAvaney will be able to pick up who's coming on to replace him in just a moment.
Gavin Walsh will be in.
Thank you, Bruce. Bubner. Out towards Trigg. Thumped away, however, by Fetke, and Walsh makes his appearance. No, it's Alan Stringer. It's not Walsh at all. Alan Stringer. Well, that's interesting because a defender's gone off and they've brought Alan Stringer. You would have thought, as Bruce said, Gavin Walsh, who is a defender, you might have thought he got the chance. But nevertheless, Graham Campbell obviously has his reasons.
Robertson a long way down from that centre half forward spot. Maybe having a run on the ball, perhaps. Wilson goes for the punch. Marshall read it well. Marshall, a good player for Glenelg this year. That's not a good kick. Goes straight to Van Dommel. I don't think he meant it. Wasn't a good handball either to Thomas, but he got the kick away. Bytheen. Kidney almost caught him. Platt is going to be outnumbered. Hewitt read it beautifully. Got it over to Peter Carey. Carey playing well. Scott Salisbury's provided the run. Bytheen has to do some work. I don't think that was an intentional trip, but nevertheless, the umpire is going to play it that way.
Peter, as a point of interest, Carl Fetke's gone to centre half back, and I assume Alan Stringer will go to centre half forward.
Gee. Playing drafts at the moment with us, very hard to follow. McDermott, or the handball is astray. Bubner ran into a pile of trouble. Stringer, handball away. McDermott the kick. Simons a chance, couldn't mark the ball. Fine defensive work from Mark Pryor.
Livesey just looking a little proppy on the outer side there, limping with the left leg by the looks of things, or maybe a hip, whatever. Doesn't look all that healthy. Kernahan looks to pass off, can't get the ball clear. Norsworthy likewise. Hearn for Centrals kicks out to the outer side. Livesey gets up, or it was O'Neill in actual fact who flew for the ball. Krieg towards centre field. Robertson. Fetke a chance, gets it onto his boot pretty quickly. It's going to be a loose ball. Coming to meet it was Hall. McGuinness, well done, puts a long one in towards full forward. That's going to be awfully close, but I think it's wrong side of the post. 1 point only.
There's a perfect handball there over to McGuinness. Bruce?
It's an interesting one with Fetke and Stringer because Walsh was ready to come on, and they decided that a change of mind and they'd bring Stringer on because Fetke was giving them a little bit at centre half forward, so Graham Campbell must have had a change of mind.
Tigers in again. Simons. Oh, the kick, not a good one. Kernahan wasn't on the lead. A chance, McGuinness. Tapped it in front of him. Tried to get the free kick, but it wasn't there. Norsworthy on top of the ball, and the umpire will bounce it. Yes, I could see when Bruce picked Gavin Walsh coming on. Gavin Walsh was ready, and it was a quick change of heart there.
Be disappointing for Gavin. All ready to go on.
Yeah, in these conditions, I think you'd have to warm up again next time. Off the ground, McDermott. It's out of bounds, about 10 metres from the Glenelg scoring area. And the Tigers certainly need them because at 1-4, at about 18 minutes into the first quarter, not a good start. Kernahan used the body. McDermott got the ball out. Stringer played for the free kick. Actually, it was Twelftree who got it out. Stringer played for the free kick, but he's not going to get it. It will be a bounce.
Inside the half-forward line, the Bay's in attack. Kernahan and O'Neill. Kernahan tried to hook it back, looking for McDermott. Quickly jamming onto his boot. Stringer getting underneath the ball. Good mark, young Kidney. And here's his chance from 20 metres out to kick his first goal in league football. I wonder what's going through his mind. The heart's probably beating pretty quickly right now. 16-year-old Kidney goes towards goal, and he's got it. His first goal in senior football, and look at his teammates rushing in there to congratulate him. And that was a fine little thing by umpire Laurie Argent there, who just went in, and also well done, young man. Well done, Laurie Argent.
Actually, not a bad place for a rover to be in these conditions. Standing around there at about 15 metres out from goal, right in front, you can pick up a few kicks like that. Albie Menzel does it pretty well for the Norwood side here.
He's brilliant. He's always waiting for that ball in that, as we say in the classics, inverted commas, in the guts of the field there, waiting for it to come through. O'Neill gets the tap away towards centre wing and Livesey. Oh, too far for Cloesi. Not a good handball at all. The tackle by Marshall was clumsy, but they've called him to play on. Livesey hooks around the corner. Norsworthy's out there, takes a good mark. He's the check side of centre wing, however, as he kicks the Dogs into attack. Robertson gives the lead. Salisbury there with him, but the ball goes out of bounds, and Fedke gives chase. Salisbury it was. Fedke is 36 and 35. You can see both of them. They're on the outer side of the oval at the throw-in. Carey used his body and strength, taken away by Tony Hall. The Bays go into attack, or a big leap by Bunga Hearn, but unfortunately he's given away a free kick. He was well underneath that ball, and it's Maynard to take the kick in. A long kick in towards full forward. Over the top it goes. I think it was touched. Pryor couldn't get his hands to it, but I think it was probably the wrong side of the goalpost in any case, and 1 point only.
Maynard, good long kick there. Big torpedo punt. Pretty hard to do when the ball gets a bit wet and heavy, but perhaps it's not as bad out there as one might imagine. Bubner get a lot of distance with the ball. It was a controlled kick. Hearn took it off hands, uses the left boot. Marshall underneath the ball, couldn't take the mark. Norsworthy the crumbs. Scott Salisbury tapped it forward. Stringer doing good work. Kicking it forward now is Hewitt for Glenelg, but behind, an easy mark there to Jamie Thomas. They're playing it pretty well, the Dogs. Glenelg are in front, but they've got a fairly strong breeze going their way. On the outer side of the ground, the handball forward. Tony Hall picks out Maynard and finds him. Both teams are a little bit loose in defence. They both like to attack. Very quiet here at Elizabeth Oval at the moment. The crowd starts to yell when the Dogs have got the ball and they're streaming forward, but when the opposition have got it, strangely silent. Not as good a kick on this occasion by Maynard. O'Neill punches away. Gee, Kidney went down. I think he's going to get the free kick. Yes, and the Dog supporter's not happy with that one, but you could pick it. I think, Ian, it's not a bad free kick, is it?
Oh, there's a push in the back, no question, Peter. I think the Dog defenders were pretty disappointed, but it was there. And young Kidney, this one, he's going to try the check side.
Nothing like a bit of confidence. Kidney lining up his second goal. Gave it plenty of air. Too much. A point to Kidney. 2-6 the Tigers, 2-3 the Dogs.
Central's running a loose man in defence. Both Hearn, Van Dommel and Platten are in defence. And they've got very few players in their forward line. At the moment, they've only got 4 players ahead of centre, and that's 2 obviously each side. So Central starting to play it very defensive after their fine start. 2-6 plays 2-3. Bubner to the outer side. Kernahan's out there. Can't get into the game at the moment. Hewitt and Livesey. Maynard's there, but the umpire indicates the ball is out of play. The weather conditions are going to provide a lot of defensive football, both through nature and through the agency of the coaches, I would think. Van Dommel. That handball just went straight out of play. No one touched it. 3 points to the Bays.
2-6 Glenelg, 2-3 the Dogs. We're approaching full time in the first quarter, and I guess you'd have to say the Dogs have done a little bit better than the Bays. Kernahan try to get the left hand to it. Ineffective. Probably see a ball up here. as I said before, the crowd very, very quiet. The rain seems to have abated, and I think you'll see a pretty good football match before the day's out. McGuinness, or the handball, not a good one. Backed up well by 12-3, onto the right boot. He wants Kernahan, too far. Simon's one hand. Try to get it free. Or the tackle from Kernahan was not the best, and I think that looks to be Livesey. It's a shot of the crowd there, and
I would think, Peter, only about 4,000 to 5,000 people.
yeah, it's not a big crowd, but I guess in these conditions it's understandable. Fetke took the mark, got the handball onto Salisbury. Carey in front, good mark, used the body well, and that's what he's done well today, Ian. And the big chap, I think, could be in for a good day in these conditions.
Peter, a couple of times he hasn't even got his feet off the ground, and yet he's got the knock, just through sheer strength.
6 kick for Carey. He's had 3 handballs. The kick was offline, and the Tigers most inaccurate. 2-7 to the Dogs 2-3.
They've been suffering a bit shooting for goal in recent times, and it's certainly not helping their cause at the moment. Bubner kicked off before the umpire had finished waving the flag, so he's got to come back again. This time he has a little kick to himself. Makes 10 metres for the Dogs, just kicks over towards Jamie Thomas. Oh, good mark, however, taken by 12-3. Too far out to score. On the lead is Carey. That's the way the ball will go. Big Super's out there, nicking it in front. Maynard. Fine mark. I don't think it was meant for him. Big Super was lumbering to meet it. He would have made it all right, but Maynard finished almost acrobatically to take that catch. One who had to dive in the end. McGuinness looking anxious, but Maynard has got it 30 metres out and should make the distance easily. They're all going to the left. Perhaps he should take that right goal post. That's what he's done, and watch it come back there, right through the middle. Fine goal, one that the Bays needed. 3-7, Central Districts 2-3.
Kick forward from 12-3. Actually, he took a good mark, and watch Maynard float in there. I'd agree with Ian, it was meant for Peter Carey, but Maynard did a fine job. Kicked a goal. He's not normally a goal kicker, but he's done very well for Glenelg since coming over from Melbourne, and he's a good team man and player that puts in pretty hard every week.
Some of his mates call him Motormouth. Can't understand why. At the centre bounce, O'Neill gets the tap away. Livesey, good football. Oh, can't get clear. Fine tackle by Hewitt. The ball bottled up centre field, and the umpire will come in and bounce. Into time on of the first quarter. The Bays by 10 points. Well, not quite into time on, mate. Yes, we are now. I was only about 3 seconds early. O'Neill, Platt, tried to worm his way clear, but the umpire said the tackle was high, and Platten will boot the Dogs into attack right from the centre circle. Had a fine first quarter, kick number 5. Also kicked 1 goal, 2. And a fine mark in defence, taken there by Hall. Swings it out wide. Gee, that wasn't so good. Farquhar scooped it up well, however. Maynard, dummies. Kicks long towards the half-forward line, searching for Alan Stringer, but the leap was from Kernahan. Cloessi lost the football, however. Good scoop up by Bohm. Gets it as far, however, as Livesey. Caught on the left leg, still makes 30 metres around towards the half-forward line. In trouble out there is Robertson. Livesey as well, and the umpire will throw it back in at centre wing, out of side.
The Bays by 10 points. Kernahan's having a run on the ball now. Peter Carey's at full forward. Kernahan in front, got the tap down. Tony Hall fell over. Ball dribbles out. Fetke, kick away was ineffective. Peter Krieg wheels his way through the pack. Wilbur Wilson underneath the ball. Fine mark, Holst. Wilbur says he touched it first, and he probably did too, but...
why can't he play on, Peter?
I'm blowed if I know, Ian.
He took a mark.
Off he goes now. McDermott. Yes, I don't know why the umpire brought him back, but umpires do a lot of things I'm not quite sure about. Kernahan. Plays it on. Getting underneath the ball is Hall. Can't take the mark off hands. 12-3. Hall well tackled by Vivian. Out comes 12-3. The handball away to Marshall is a good one. Wide to McGuinness. He should kick a goal. He's put it up beautifully. 2 to McGuinness. The Bays have got it moving now. 4-7 to the Dogs, 2-3.
Good ball work through the half-forward line then by the Bays side, and that last handball out, of course, McGuinness was on his natural left foot, so that was the important part about it. The tackler was Vivian. Now watch the handball come out. It was actually 12-3 who got it out. Marshall, beautifully done to McGuinness, and on that left leg, coming back with a breeze, kick number 3, 2 goals, and he's kicked a point with the other one. So he's very attacking player at the moment, averaging 2.12 goals a game.
Spends a lot of time in the forward lines, does McGuinness. He's an attacking rover. While Kernahan's tap to Kidney was superb. The kick forward, not that good. Simons through half forward, picked it up like it was a dry ball. McGuinness on a lead, he's got it. Gee, that pick up from Simons there was brilliant. McGuinness can kick a long way. Going into the wrong pocket, though. That's not a good kick. Bubner takes the easiest of marks.
In the back pocket as we approach quarter time. To the outer side, looking for Kernahan or Jamie Thomas. He wouldn't be looking for Kernahan, that's the opposition, or couldn't see a big man. Hearn would have been the biggest of the lot, but a free kick would go the way of Hearn in the half-back area. Kicks along towards centre wing. Oh, big fly there. Fedke. And he's going to put the ball back into play. Into attack. A long kick with the left leg going over. Big leap by Hall. The back of the package. 12-3. Fires for the white ones. That's going to be close. Just off line 1 point. Beautiful take off the fingers, but just couldn't manage the accuracy.
Actually, he's played very well today. 12-3 in. He's had a lot of very effective touches, and his handballing has been good. Bubner kicks out a bit more distance. Kernahan underneath it, couldn't take the mark. Trigg off hands. Tapping forward was O'Neill, but it comes back to McFarlane. On to Stringer. Stringer puts a high one in. Carey's out of position. Hall up high. Bubner was in front, and he's going to be paid. He gets the handball out. Pryor looks for Vivian. Vivian still has tons of pace. McFarlane in front. He's been paid. Pretty easy to tell what stand we're in. McFarlane short. McGuinness underneath the ball, took the eyes off it. Simons takes off. Oh, very well tackled. Bohesi was well tackled as well. The siren has gone. Kidney's kick is on its way, but I think that the siren went before he kicked it. Desperately unhappy about that. We heard the siren in, and
but the umpire put up his hands, Peter. Oh, but of course the umpire would have put up his hands momentarily thinking, is he going to pay it? The umpires are discussing it, but when the umpire put up his hand, the ball was in flight. Now, no way known was that ball kicked before the siren went. Just let's have a look at the replay of that very, very questionable goal.
Kidney's kick is on its way, but I think that the siren went before he kicked it. Well, on replay, it didn't quite look that way, but I thought that I heard the siren before the kick, but apparently not. The score stands, though. The score definitely stands. At quarter time now, it is Glenelg 5-8 to the Dogs 2-3.
Quarter time at Elizabeth, Glenelg leading 5-8 to 2-3, so they have a margin at the moment of 23 points. The two clubs have met 45 times in total. Glenelg has won 33, Central District's 12, and at Elizabeth much more even, as you'd expect. 14 times out here. Central has won 6 times and Glenelg 8. But that last goal certainly will be a controversial one. They'll talk about it for weeks and weeks. Let's have another look at it.
Underneath the ball, took the eyes off it. Simons takes off. Oh, very well tackled. Bohesi was well tackled as well. The siren has gone. Kidney's kick is on its way, but I think that the siren went before he kicked it.
Yes, we're just having some problems here, but we've got the earbud back in and got the microphone back, but the Central District's camp certainly thought that the siren had gone. I was sitting on the ground. I've got to be perfectly honest. I thought I heard the siren go before the ball was kicked, but it's a score, and Central District have got some work to do now. I had a feeling that when they went on the defensive, Ian and Peter, that's when things didn't happen, because Peter Maynard followed Rene Van Dommel and William Hearn down, and he got a lot of important kicks.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I was surprised to see him down there. He picked up 5 kicks, in fact, in that first quarter, Bruce, and the goal that he kicked was very effective very important at that stage, because Glenelg were behind.
5-8 to 2-3. Glenelg might rue that poor kicking at goal on the first quarter. Carey gets the thump away towards Marshall, but it's picked up by Norsworthy. Goes to the outer side. Robertson pursues. Wilson, who's been well held by Holt up to date, in the action as well. Over the top of McDermott, who's going to get the free kick. He runs it quickly to Holst. Holst kicks long. Gee, he's getting ground or covering ground into that breeze. Perhaps it's not as strong as we think it is at the back of the stand here. In your 8, the umpire will bounce the ball at centre half forward with the Bays in attack. Certainly, Holst kicked in was ground covering. Bytheen and Carey right on the attacking edge of the big square as far as the Bay is concerned. Bytheen cleverly down at Cloesy. That kick wasn't a good one. Norsworthy can't handle it. McDermott tried to get it out to McGuinness. Couldn't get it clear. Krieg, but the free kick will go the way of Central's Van Dommel.
Van Dommel just the defence side of centre. Kick number 6 to the Bulldog follower. Fetke appeared to be too far under the ball. He was. Hearn now feints the handball. Well, that's not a good follow-up. That missed Robertson by a foot at least. Robertson will have to use the left. No, he goes back to the right. Or Platten makes line position. He was given too much latitude by Salisbury on that occasion. Platten should convert for a major here. The Glenelg Rovers have got 2 each. Well, Platten pulled that one right across the body with his 6th kick. Only got the point, and perhaps the Dogs will also be inaccurate this quarter. 2-4 to the Bays, 5-8.
It was a perfectly positioned kick then by Robertson to give Platten a chance. He shouldn't have missed that one. Farquhar plays to the dead side. Carey's out there. Doesn't get his fingers to it. Vivian will get a free kick. He's on the half-forward right flank, too far out to score. The Dogs kicking with, we reckon, at least 3-goal breeze. Puts it up towards the half-forward line, looking for Hearn. Used his body well. Platten, half-forward line under pressure. Norsworthy likewise. Wilbur Wilson cleverly tapped it up towards full forward. Didn't get it out. Scott Salisbury. Platten shoots. I think he's got that one. A great goal to Johnny Platten, his second. 3-4 Centrals, 5-8 Glenelg.
Platten's a danger anywhere around the ground. Norsworthy's kick wasn't effective. Wilbur did the right thing, and Carl Fetke had problems with this ball because he had to get rid of it in that situation. Platten jumped at the opportunity and kicked his second goal.
Centre bounce. Carey and Bytheen. Carey hasn't been off the ball yet, I don't think. Oh, yes, Kernahan did have a run, I beg your pardon. Back to McDermott. And a free kick's going the way of McDermott for hanging on as he drives to the half-forward line, coming to meet it. Good mark, Tony Hall. Plays on quickly. The running player is Marshall, well past. Haven't gained a great deal of distance. Kernahan on the lead. Marshall gives him a chance. Can't quite bring it down. Well done, Bubner. Kernahan just had to prop at the wrong moment. Van Dommel. Krieg. Van Dommel in the 1-2. McDermott can't catch him, puts it up towards Robertson. Too far for that player, or pushing the back by O'Neill. Getting back on it is Fetke, and is quite happy to concede the point.
Way down the field there, and very quick time, Central District side. The handballing there between Krieg and Van Dommel was very good. Oh, not a good kick, Farquhar. He must have been watching Stewie Palmer play, I think. Stewie does that. I think that South Adelaide supporters get very uptight. Connolly has been a good player in the last couple of weeks. A fine kick into the square. Gee, it's off hands. It was a good kick, Connolly, from that position. A point. 3-6 the Dogs, 5-8 Glenelg.
What about Craig Williams? The day we saw them play down at
oh, that was heart attack material, wasn't it?
3 times he cost goals when his short kicks mistimed. Kick out by Farquhar to the outer side. Carey can't. Quickly in his Bytheen. The handball away. Van Dommel. The next one wasn't that good. Vivian a chance. Tap cleverly McGuinness. Look at the pace he's got now. Sockers to the half-forward line. Up here Salisbury. Quickly gives it across Marshall. Marshall to Kernahan is good football. But once again, Bubner playing too well at the moment. Well, the handball away is not good. Here's a chance. 12-3. Out in front of Stringer. Stringer under pressure. Tries to get the ball out. McGuinness was in there. At the bottom of the pack, finally, Marshall got it out. Kidney over now to Hall. Hall and Bone. Right at the teeth of the square, or a heavy bump. Pushing the back. And a free kick will go to the Bays. Right out in front. Let's have a look at it. Hall and Bone. Now, it's not Bone that pushes him in the back. It's Pryor. dispatched both him and his teammate, and the free kick will be taken about 25 metres out. Tony Hall.
Yeah, I think he got sandwiched there, Ian, and it'll be interesting to have a look at that one again if he kicks the goal. I think he's winded. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure that it was so much in the back. Perhaps it was just enough for the decision, but he's still in a bit of trouble.
You try to convince Tony Hall.
Yeah, poor bloke.
Yeah, he's not really healthy at the moment, and the other kick will be taken. We'll have a look at it. I'll just tell you what's happening to the kick. That's through from Sewer. Now we'll have a look at not Sewer from Weltree. Well, Peter, to me, it was at the top of the shoulder, but you've got to tell me, well, you've got to admit that he was pushed forward with the push.
Yeah, and the effect of the Central District body was, of course, to sandwich him between two Central District bodies, and he got the wind thrown out of him there for a while. But he's been a very good player this afternoon for Glenelg, and he's a one-grab player, which is something we don't see a great deal of, or not enough of these days. But Glenelg converted. They're 6-8 now. The Dogs 3-6.
12-3's first goal. Van Dommel taps it forward. Platten, well done. Platten over the half-forward line, wants a lead. Out comes Big O'Neill on the chest. Good mark. That's what Platten wanted. The big fellow wouldn't lead initially, but finally he trundled out and got there well in advance of Farquhar. O'Neill, Michael type, 20 metres out in front. Drop punt underway. That's home for all money. No worries at all. Great reply by Central. His first goal. And the Dogs 4-6. Central 6-8. Glenelg 6-8.
They came away from the centre very well there, the Dogs, and I think they were pretty desperate for a goal after the Glenelg goal. I don't think a lot of the players agreed with the decision. It was a fine kick, though, from Platten, and as Ian Day said, O'Neill very slow out of the blocks, but in retrospect, perhaps he timed it, or he was thinking about the timing of it. If he came out too early, he might have been in trouble with the mark, but I think he gave the opportunity, though, for a Glenelg player in to cut across him, but no Glenelg player did it.
6-8 to 4-6. Kernahan in ruck against Bytheen. 14 points the difference. Well, Bytheen couldn't even get his hand on the ball. The bounce went his way, but he mistimed it completely. Bytheen is going off the ball as O'Neill comes back into play. Bytheen going down to full forward. Then we'll see a repeat bounce, centre circle. Umpire Field having trouble getting much height. Kernahan bumps it towards 12-3, but it's Stringer who throws it out wide. McGuinness, well taken away, however, by Trigg. He's immediately sat upon, and the umpire will come in and bounce centre half forward with the Bays in attack.
Skillful players handle these conditions as well as they handle dry conditions. In fact, skillful players sometimes do better in the wet. Oh, O'Neill's tap down was a good one. Simons, the kick is smothered, down he goes. Players stack up again, and the umpire will ball it up. A few people in the stand yelled holding the ball. Optimism. Kernahan and O'Neill. O'Neill's improved his rucking in recent weeks. Platten, right on the bottom of the pack, as you always see him. I don't think I've seen a player more desperate for a ball, Ian, than Platten.
Fine player. Not much of him, Peter, but all courage.
Certainly. Kidney's a player that appears to be of a similar mould. It's saying a lot, though, at this stage. Platten took the knock on that occasion. Hewitt. Kick not a good one. Trigg under it, and he takes a fine defensive mark.
Trigg has Connolly leading to the outer side, but he's coming towards Robertson. Wilbur Wilson's there too. What's this, Becky? No, he never got started, but he's given away a free kick in doing it. That's probably why he didn't get started. He misread it. Maynard to Hewitt. Out wider is Tony Hall. He's going to have to stand his ground. Bohm out there with him. Trigg over the top. Oh, what a fine mark. Gee, he made hard work of it in the end. Got up high enough to take it on his chest, but almost fumbled it on the way down. He'll go to the outer side, Cloesi. Centre wing. Van Dommel provided the run. Over the half-forward line, on the lead now is Bytheen. He's going short. Wilson, thumped away by Holst. Gee, he's putting a close rein on that player. Quickly in there now is Salisbury. Gets it out, McFarlane. 12-3 to the half-forward line. Hall uses his body well. Bohm over the top of him. He wants a running player. Oh, Thomas left it behind. Bohm had to back his own handball up. puts it out in front of Livesey. Dead Heat coming up here, going through Maynard, hasn't got the cherry, and the free kick will go the way of the Bay run-on play.
He played it well, Maynard. He kept his eye on the ball all the way, and that's something Livesey didn't do. Trigg is beating his opponent in Stringer so far. McGuinness got the ball out. Simons, very quick to Marshall. Thomas, McGuinness. Thomas did it well. He pushed it on. McGuinness applies the bear hug. They're on to McGuinness. I don't know why. It's just a simple free kick. They still won't let him go, and off goes Pryor. Into the centre of the ground, Connolly and McFarlane. Connolly fell over. McFarlane pushed it back to Duthie. Loose is Hewitt, but Duthie goes long. Stringer's going to have to come in, but far too late. Gave the free kick away on a high tackle to Trigg.
Trigg playing a fine game at centre half back. Van Dommel's clear at centre wing. Awkward looking mark in the end. Hearn through the centre line. Bytheen can't quite get there. Farquhar with him. Fedke, Maynard, high towards centre wing. McFarlane. Quickly through was Hall. Maynard again. Over the half-forward line go the Bays, looking for Stringer, but Trigg again. Gee, that's his third mark in about 5 minutes.
Problem spot for the Bays, centre half forward. O'Neill playing it well. Kernahan comes in, gets the handball out. McDermott, that was fine work. Trigg again against Stringer. Missed the mark on that occasion. Trigg running through half forward. 12-3, had to get rid of the ball. Bubner goes down very hard on McDermott. McDermott takes the free kick. Dog crowd not happy. McDermott kicks it quick. Carey getting in front. Oh, he's got it. Gee, that was a good, strong mark. Not far out of goal.
Peter, I can't agree when the player throws himself on the ball like that and the player comes over the top of him that it's a push in the back. I believe he's taken that risk. May
not have been a push in the back end. He sat on the player very high. It could have been a high tackle. First goal to Carey, 7-8 the Tigers, 4-6 the Dogs.
7-8 Glenelg, 4-6 the Dogs. The Bays by 20 points. Kernahan and O'Neill. O'Neill's tap away. Platten, half-forward line. The bounce will decide. Fedke back in defence at the moment. Gets the handball away. Not all that good. Oh, at the bottom of the pack is Salisbury. And he's in a bit of trouble. Players getting a little excited at the moment.
It's a free kick to Salisbury.
Salisbury will get the free kick. Elects to play on dummies beautifully as he drives towards centre wing, and Kernahan thumped away. Well done, Tony Hall. A kick into the open spaces. No, the Breeze held that one up pretty quickly. Trigg getting back. Livesey. High tackle, said the umpire. Bruce McAvaney. You there, Bruce?
Yes, I certainly am, Ian. I was just going to tell you about John Seabohm. He's got a bruised left shoulder, and he will come back if they need him, so that's good news for Glenelg. And surprisingly, Wilbur's off. He has been struggling. I'll find out if he's injured, and Bradley Wharton's on.
Through half forward, Glenelg. McGuinness played it beautifully. Gets the kick away finally. Down he goes. Into the forward pocket. Livesey. Thomas comes in late. Livesey over the top. Bowen mishandles. Simon's doing good work. A chance, 12-3. And Kidney. Players stack up. A bounce. Well, pretty desperate stuff here. 15 minutes into the second quarter. The Bays have kicked 2 goals without a miss this quarter. The Dogs have kicked 2-3. And it's indicative that you can certainly score at that southern end. Carey will go against O'Neill. Carey hasn't got off the ground yet. He hasn't had to. Bowen, not a good kick away. Marshall handles it well. Got the handball out, but it missed McDermott. The handball comes out from Krieg. Wasn't a good one, and there'll be another bounce at centre half forward for the Bays.
15 minutes into the second quarter. Glenelg by 20 points. This shows the Breeze is not determining the factor as much as we thought it was going to determine the game. Krieg. A long one towards Fedke. Kernahan there as well. Neither pulled it down. Van Dommel's got the free kick. Plays it on to Connolly. Connolly goes long, getting back on it. Salisbury. Norsworthy there with him. The player that's just come on the ground, Wharton in the picture. Maynard hooks around the corner back towards Simons, but it's Van Dommel. Throws the ball away, beautifully intercepted by Hall. Marshall at centre wing. The running player is McFarlane. A long kick towards the half-forward line. Carey sets himself, taps it back beautifully, but he was looking for a running player, not one there. Big Super gets through the pack, gives away the handball. It wasn't all that good. Stringer running to the ground, holding the ball. Well, the Dog supporters don't mind that one. Stringer didn't have a great chance. Hearn from Coessy, and Hearn's got it. Check side centre wing. Centres the ball. Looking for Connolly. Looking a little dishevelled with the rain and whatever. Up towards Wharton. Oh, big leap there, not successful. Came from Holst. Kernahan back on the ball. Norsworthy's with him. Has to dispense of that in a hurry. Salisbury, Platten, Wharton, Holst, Kernahan, and umpire Jim Field or Laurie Argent it is.
Pretty tough out there at the moment. The Bays at this stage leading by 20 points. Not a bad lead in these conditions, but the Dogs are certainly fighting hard. Salisbury dives on top of the ball. McGuinness with a late tackle. There'll be another bounce. Ball up. Trigg at centre-half back is Glenelg's big problem at the moment. Stringer needs to get into the game. Farquhar caught off the ground. Norsworthy, the centre-half forward. Bradley Wharton held on to. Norsworthy, Wharton holding the ball. Decision a little bit hard to follow. McDermott takes the handball, puts it out in front of Tony Hall. Vivian's in pursuit. Tony Hall plays it well. What a fine player he is. McGuinness backs up. He's another Glenelg player playing well. Across to McDermott. The Glenelg players are running. Carey at full forward. Taps it down in front of him. Bubner, good player. Carey fighting hard. Trigg. He's lost his short. Super. Vivian. Super's the only Glenelg player with white shorts at the moment. Stephen Baum. Kicks forward. Not a good kick though. McFarlane comes in and takes a good mark. Peter Carey.
Hang on, Peter. This is a kid's show.
Should be on after 8:30 at night. Out of bounds. Left half forward back for Glenelg, and in they're leading by 20 points, and I get the feeling that the Bays are really desperate to win this one.
Peter, I agree, and they're doing it well at the moment. Stringer couldn't get the ball. At the bottom of the pack there could be Maynard. Let's have a look at him. No, it's McDormand. And at half-time we'll be talking to the Bay coach, Graham Campbell, who still feels the Bays have got a chance of making the final 5. Well, I suppose you must be optimistic, if perhaps not just realistic at the moment. Time will tell. Funny game football. Van Dommel hasn't got it. Duthie's looking for it, and Van Dommel is going to get the free kick. Chris Duthie, a resigned shrug. Van Dommel in the action quite a bit. Kick number 8. 7 handballs as well. Fine kick towards centre. Good mark, Connolly. Got a little bit of a shove in there. Out wider still. It's well passed. Here's a chance. Pryor. Bradley Wharton, if it sits for him, he's going to kick a goal. He's got it. Oh, he's got to get it over now to Bytheen. Bytheen in trouble. Bunga Hearn can't pick it up. Quickly now back is Farquhar. Cool under pressure. Gives away a handball. Maynard and Bytheen force the ball away. Oh, down went Scott Salisbury. And a free kick is going, and it will go to Fedke, I think, for a push in the back. And a Glenelg player down there hurt pretty badly. It looks like Maynard to me, grabbing at the knee, but the ball is going back for Fedke to take the free kick. A high one towards Kernahan.
Kernahan up, the spoil from behind. Van Dommel again. Hearn to half forward. Well, under the ball was Hewitt. It wasn't Hearn who kicked the ball forward. It's Hearn that just marked it. 15 metres as well. Hearn short. Oh, Platten's on his own. Gee, that's too loose. Platten will put it through easily for his 3rd goal. Very loose defensive work from the Bay defenders. 5-6 the Dogs. Glenelg 7-8.
Yes, Peter, I'm not certain whether the Maynard being in the trainer's hands, you can see in the back of the picture there, whether that created the loose man, but whatever. Platten was 20 metres clear of his immediate opponent and had no trouble in bombing on his 3rd goal, and it looks like Maynard is coming off, or is he? He's limping towards... No, he's not at the moment, because Hearn is his man, and I think he's just coming across to stand that player. 7-8 Glenelg, 5-6 Centrals, and we've played almost 20 minutes of the 2nd quarter.
Gavin Walsh is getting ready for the Glenelg side. Kernahan up, beaten again by O'Neill. Norsworthy off the ground. Fecky did good work then, plays it in front of him, comes through like a bullock. Kicks to half forward for Glenelg. Jamie Thomas read it well. Pushes it out towards Trigg. Trigg's handball goes wide to Barr. On to Vivian. 12-3 comes in for the Bays. Close to the line, there'll be a ball in.
Centre wing throw-in. It's hard work out there. Kernahan. Bone. The Dogs hook it back or try to, smothered off the boot. Connolly can't get it clear, and once more a boundary throw-in. 7-8 to 5-6. The Bays by 14 points. And the brave crowd in these wintry conditions. Hope you're enjoying it home there beside the warm fire. Half your luck. Hewitt. Pryor, good handball. Norsworthy over the half-forward line, has a bounce. He can have another one. No, he's going to put it up for Platten. Platten's got it right on the line. He's going to play on, run into the open goal. Platten, where was his immediate opponent? Let him run 10 metres. Would have had a most difficult shot otherwise, but he's got goal number 4, and the Dogs have got 6 on the board.
Again, it was loose. Norsworthy set it up, but got a feeling that the Bay defenders turned their backs on. Now you have a look at Holst. Holst went over to have a look at Wharton. So did Farquhar. They both went over to Wharton, and Platten just ran through for an open goal. His 4th. Mark Norsworthy having a pretty good year. 6-6 the Dogs. Glenelg 7-8, and this has been a pretty strong fight back from the Dog side here.
Peter, it is. Halfway through that quarter, like you, I thought that Glenelg were getting on top, and Central's hopes were fading, but gee, the last 10 minutes it's been fine form, and they've got an 8-point deficit at the moment.
Kernahan, not his best day, certainly not his best conditions. Again, O'Neill beats him for the ball. Platten fighting hard for it, as he always does. Connolly was thrown away. Boothie got the kick forward, but a good mark to Livesey. Plays it on straight away for Connolly. Dogs are certainly lifted. Connolly goes forward, up high by Thien. Smashing away was Farquhar. A ball in left half forward flank for the Dogs side.
Played 23 minutes of the second quarter. Farquhar, but it's Kernahan and Thien. Hooked it back. Van Dommel made some distance prior, up an attack, suffers a point. I'm just trying to think who he would have followed up. Obviously one of the run-on players. I also have the impression that Simons has gone to centre wing. He started on a half-forward line, so the Bay shuffling their side around just a trifle. Farquhar kicks to the outer side, and not a good kick.
No, not well placed in. Robertson, who's very good in the air, took an easy mark. Who he wants by Thien. Can't mark the ball. Leading from full forwards today is perhaps not the order of the day. Fecky there, he just got the ball in the face, I think. That can hurt on a day like this too. Down goes a Dog player. Players just having a look at the umpire and having a bit of a chat at the moment. Things have quietened down a bit out there. Glenelg by 7 points. Kernahan fighting hard. Platten holding the ball. Yes, Johnny Platten has to give it back, and what a fine game he's played with 4 games. Kernahan and McGuinness. McGuinness has also played well. Plays the game entirely differently to Platten, though. O'Neill under it. So is Trigg. Couldn't hold the mark. Collins on the ground for the Dog side. Free kick has been given to the Central District player. On this occasion, it will be Hearn.
Hearn from centre wing to put the Dogs into attack. Comes towards the half-forward line. Connolly's going to get a leap at this one. Gets up, can't bring it down. In front was Hewitt. Could even be playing a loose man in defence. Platten gets it out. McFarlane, Wharton, farms it out. Platten again. New player on. Collins, smothered off the boot. Ducking his chutney, but getting it out was prior to Wharton. And Wharton is going to get a free kick, or has he lost the ball for holding it? Robertson doesn't look to be in a healthy state of... at the moment, he's in trouble with the trainers. But a push in the back has gone to Bradley Wharton. And he's got it about 45 metres out. I think the Bays are running a loose man in defence as well now. That's why Simons has gone to the wing. Hewitt into defence. First kick to Wharton. Nice looking drop punt. That's home. Never looked like this. Fine kick. kick, 1 goal, and the Dogs now just 1 point down.
They fought back very well. Let's have a look at the free kick, which was for a push in the back. Wharton's the man with the blonde hair. Is that a push in the back, or isn't it? 7-8 Glenelg, the Dogs 7-7.
Is that a question or a statement?
Only a question here.
I think you're sitting on the fence, Pete. 7-8 to 7-7. Carey back in ruck. Gets the second tap, but Hearn has got the pace. Quickly onto the boot to the half-forward line. Robertson out there. Fedke. Robertson over the half-forward line. Fedke tripped in. The only thing he could do. Robertson had too much pace for him. He dived for the ankles. Brought him down. You could say it's a professional free. But whatever, Robertson's now got a set shot at goal. Bruce McAvaney.
Scott Salisbury's gone to half-forward. Ian Mark Hewitt, in fact, gone to the back pocket on John Platten.
Thanks, Bruce. Robertson. 35 metres out, 45-degree angle. Nice looking drop punt, but it's going across the face of goal. Marked by Connolly well behind the line, and a point to Connolly. He has now kicked, point to Robertson, now kicked 1 goal 1.
He's a good player, Robertson. Very good indeed. They serve well by their centre-half back, centre-half forward at the moment. Robertson and Trigg, 2 young players with big futures. Peter Carey being paid. Big super. Plays it short. That's Mark Hewitt. Carey's streaming down the centre. He's on his own. Hewitt would... no, he's a bit too late for him. Stringer up behind. Can't pull the mark down, or can he? He's been paid. Didn't appear to have too much of it. Carey again is on his own. Stringer still doesn't want him. Goes wide to Marshall. Over the top of Marshall. Pryor in late. McGuinness handball to Marshall was good. Back to McGuinness it should go. McGuinness in trouble now. Surrounded by Dog players. In goes Kidney for Glenelg. Gets the handball out. Salisbury. McGuinness will line them up. The ball coming back with a boot, but it won't score. Hall. Big chance for a mark, but he couldn't pull it in. The Dogs will run out of trouble. Kick to centre wing. Van Dommel. Baum. Livesey. Short goes Livesey. Gee, Fetke's showing a bit of blood around the mouth area. Vivian does a bit of backtracking. Goes into the centre of the ground for Hearn. Finds that player. Good mark, Hearn. What about playing on? The umpire's going to give him 15. He played on anyway with his 10th kick. Robertson way out there on his own. Got a bad bounce. Holst gave it up. Wharton. Hewitt couldn't take the mark. Platten's still there. Wharton a chance. Kicks it around the body. Gee, that's not a bad shot for goal. Just offline though. The Dogs hit the front. 7-9 to the Bays. 7-8.
Yes, they're playing fine run-on football at the moment. Bradley Wharton's only played 2 games. Seems to have been around longer than that. Always see him play well in the reserves. Oh, Fedke couldn't turn around then. Livesey, the handball away to Collins wasn't good. Big Peter Carey thought it was okay. Gives a chance now to Marshall. To the outer side. Bytheen closing on that player. Marshall thought about Duthie, but gave it over to Vivian. Bytheen, the Dogs into attack again, high towards the half-forward line. Robertson, thumped away by McFarlane. Kidney and Carey, youth and experience. Mark Hewitt. Short towards centre wing, Duthie. Duthie slows it down. No, decides to bolt off now. Simons is centre field waiting for the ball, but he follows it towards the boundary line. Hall, second, third grab is paid. Now Simons could get it. Coming over towards that player end, Maynard. Simon still wants it, but he's going to have to be patient. Siren very close. Almost 30 minutes gone. The Bays would like a score. They're a point down. Into attack to the half-forward line. Bytheen back there, but a fine mark in front to Cloessi. Bytheen the stronger of the two. But there's the siren to end the second quarter here. A great fight back in the latter part of that second quarter by Central Districts. And at half-time, it sees them in front 7-9-51 to Glenelg 7-8-50.
Half-time at Elizabeth, just a point the difference. Central District leading 7-9 to 7-8. Hope you're enjoying it at home. We've had some rain since half-time, but it has eased again, and I'm sure we're going to have intermittent showers throughout the afternoon. Graham Campbell's in a very tight situation at the moment, so is Daryl Hicks for that matter. And Ian Day spoke to Graham this morning, and he asked Graham about the rest of this season, whether Glenelg still had a chance.
Look, there's so many ifs and buts, it's crazy, but in all honesty, Ian, football is a game of ifs and buts. And if it does roll our way and we can win our next two, we're in with more than a chance of making the final. So it may look improbable, but not impossible.
All right, so your attitude is going to be simply to win games from here on in?
We aim at the 5 until we can't make it. Until we're 2 games out with 1 game to go, I'll concede we can't make it. Then we'll aim at 6th. We'll shoot for the highest spot in the competition, and that we can make, I mean. And logically, every other coach would think the same way. Otherwise, I don't think he's doing his job properly.
In hindsight, would you have changed anything that you've done this year?
No, not one iota. I've coached in WA, I've coached in Victoria. I have my own style, my own way of doing it, and that's the only way you can be, Ian. I've said before to the media, you can't be a prototype of any other coach and look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, I'm pleased with what I see. You've got to do it your own way. And, you know, I just attack my coaching. I'm improvising all the time. You don't just do it the way you did it, say, 8 years ago. But you've got to be yourself. You've got to express yourself as a coach to your players. You've got to get your ideas across to them the best way you can do. And that's all you can do as a coach, and that's what I've done. And, you know, people would say early, hell, nothing's happening at the Bay. But mid-season, we picked up our straps.
Looking forward then, Graham, are you likely to lose any players through, say, retirement in the first instance? Peter Carey going to be with you next year?
Oh, Peter will be here for sure. Peter's only 29. I know, with his bald patch in the back of the head. He might look a little older. He might have played in your time, did he?
Not quite. Wished he had have.
Right. He may look a little older than he is, but he's only 29. He's only a boy. John McFarlane will be around next year, I'd like to think. I don't see anybody really retiring.
Ralph Sewer?
Well, Ralphie may be, because Ralphie's over the 30 mark, and logically, when you're 31, 32, I suppose you think it's time to make a move sometimes. I don't know how Ralph's feeling about his football. He's hardly played this year, Ian. He's been injured, and, you know, problems like that have really put him under.
Well, look at your draft players. Kernahan, McGuinness. What's their chances of leaving?
I wouldn't think Stephen would leave at 19 years of age. Tony, well, Tony might have a commitment to Geelong that he can't get over. We'll certainly try to help him get over it. So out of those two, I'd say Steve would be here for sure, and I'd say Tony at this stage might be 60-40 our way. But it's how can we get him out of feeling committed to Geelong? That's the problem.
Isn't he driving around in their motor car or a car?
I believe so, yes. I believe he's running around in a car that Geelong own, you know, sort of a lease situation to Tony to try and sort of butter him up, I suppose. In all fairness, though, I think if Tony went to Geelong right now, it might be a little hard for him to really be the player he wants to be. If he gave us another year, he'd be more likely to make a big impact on VFL. And I think if he sits down and really thinks about it, and we're going to talk about it very seriously once the season's out of the road, if he had another year here, he'd be a far better product, both from South Australia's point of view and from Tony McGuinness's point of view, to make it in a big way in the VFL. At the moment, he's only a boy of 18. Godfather of 18.
I'd like to be 18 again.
I played about one league game when I was 18. This boy's played something like 40-odd over here already. It's incredible.
All right, assuming that you keep Stephen Kernahan and Tony McGuinness, what are you looking
for? Chris McDermott, we'd like to think.
Yeah, Chris McDermott, yeah,
another guy that's
very important player.
He's been, you know, sort of inveigled, if you like, by Fitzroy. Is that the word to use? But they've got...
Sounds good. What's it mean?
They've got him between the sheets somewhere, and they've got him on the draft system also. But I think Chrissy also, if Steve stayed, Chrissy will stay, because they're as tight. They're real close, those two boys. They're like peas in the pod. They're like brothers. And one sort of would do what the other did. So we've got to talk them both into staying, obviously, and they'll be around the place next year.
All right, assuming they are, what are you looking for in terms of key position players? What do you really need?
Look, Ian, we don't need a lot, and I don't believe in telling the football public at large that we need this and that, because straight away I'm denigrating the players that are holding down those spots at the moment. But everybody at Glenelg would know we need a goal-kicking forward. And be it a full forward or a forward pocket, I don't much know which way the boy was slotted into the side. At the moment, we're changing our ruckman at full forward. A little old hat. Things I did in your day, probably, in my day, which really has gone out the back door when you see Rick Davies kick over 100 goals, and other guys that can hold down the key forward spot can kick a bundle. All we need is a guy that can kick 4 or 5 a week consistently, and we've got a pretty potent forward line. Carl Fetke might be the answer, the new boy from Geelong, playing centre-half forward at the moment, if he straightens out his kicking. Alan Stringer could be the answer. It might be right there at the moment, but we haven't put it together in our forward line at all this year. We haven't had, apart from Stephen Kernahan, a guy we can sit back and say, we'll kick 3 to 4, and that's not asking a lot, 3 to 4 per game. We've had to rely on pinch hitters, guys coming down the ground from the wing, half forwards chipping in, and you know, a general wash-up of 5 or 6 players that might kick a few goals on a given day. We can't say this guy will kick a quota for us, and that's what we need. And if Tony does go, and that's a big if, as I said before, we probably need a rover around the place, and a goal-kicking rover at that. I must express that again. Easy to say, hard to find.
Right, sure. Carl Fedke, you mentioned his name. Now, what's the attitude? I know you've got him for the rest of the season. Is it his choice or your choice as to whether he stays next season?
A bit of both, Ian. You know, obviously the boys come over from Geelong Reserves, and he's only 20 years of age. We've slotted him as centre-half forward, played him as centre-half forward where he's never played before. So he sort of is not used to that position, and yet we're making him play there. That's where we need him. I'm happy with my back line. The back line's been a reasonably good outfit since the middle of the season, and they've been restrictive, and they've been, if you like, sort of rebound players, what I'm looking for. So Carl can't fit back there. That's where he'd like to play, but we don't need him there.
Right.
He's got to be a forward. So he's getting some sort of instruction from myself and Jeff Blethyn how to play forward line football, if that is the answer to it all. And he's expressing himself. He beat Graham Corns last week, but he couldn't kick goals for us when they were needed. And this is our A1 priority. We've got to get people that can kick goals, because the name of the game is scoring, and it's no good having the ball 200 times, handballing and running the ball around through the different lines and not kicking goals. And that's been our downfall over probably the greater part of the year.
So budding full forwards, you reckon you've got a chance down the bay?
Yep, they've got a real chance down here. Both of them take the big catch in the square and kick the long goal. He'd be worth his weight in gold, but where wouldn't he be worth his weight in gold?
Sure.
What am I saying that the other sides don't need?
Graham, I hope you're optimistic, I know. I hope that you make the finals. I think it's going to be very difficult, but whatever happens, all the best for 1984.
Well, of course it's going to be difficult, Ian, and after our dramatically poor start, we lost the first 8, to even be in with a chance at this stage is reasonably pleasing. But of course it's not to the people that say we're always in the finals. And that's all the guys and ladies that follow the Tigers, and that we're used to being in the finals. And if we don't make it this year, well, I'm very sad about that, but it's not over yet.
Well, it certainly isn't. They're just a point behind at the moment. I'm about to get some help, but it stopped raining. Thank you very much, Bob. But Graham Campbell, I wonder what he's saying at this very moment to the Glenelg players. They're a point behind. A very interesting interview. We'll come back and have a look at some of the stats from the game. Glenelg led at quarter time 5-8 to 2-3. Of course, they did kick with the breeze to the northern end, and at half-time, just the point the difference, 7-9 to 7-8. And I suppose if there is just a point the difference at the end of the game, and it is in Glenelg's favour, then Central District fans will be talking about that goal by Kidney on the siren or after the siren. Anyway, it's been allowed, and Glenelg leading, trailing by a point at half-time. Looking at the stats, you can see it's been a very even game. Central with 98 kicks, Glenelg with 94. Mark, Central 33, the Bays 24. We wouldn't expect high numbers on a day like today. Handballs 38 to the Bulldogs, 48 to Glenelg. Free kicks dead even, and that's an interesting one, because I think some of the Central District fans behind me have been thinking that they've had a bad go, but it's 18-all, and the ruck 6-1 out of the centre for Central District, and Glenelg for 4. And I suppose what it all means, Ian and Peter, is the fact that we've had an even game. A game that, in a funny way, has been played in patches. Central dominated for the first 10 minutes, then Glenelg again in that second quarter, and then Central District just before half-time.
Yes, Bruce, halfway through that second quarter, Peter made the point, and I agreed with him at the time, that, you know, it looked like that Glenelg were getting on top. But, Peter, neither side has been able to get a winning forward. Perhaps Robertson's come the closest to anyone, but it's the Rovers that are doing the damage in attack and kicking goals.
Yeah, well, Platten's got 4 for the Dogs. I'd agree with that. And there was a bit of looseness on that Glenelg defence to let Platten get those. He was allowed to walk into an open goal on one occasion. He took an easy mark at centre-half forward, no one near him. By the same token, Kidney did it as well. He took a mark there. So Rovers have kicked 4 goals between them. But I feel that the Tigers have got problems at centre-half forward and at centre-half back. Fetke's gone back to centre-half back now, and
Looks a shade slow, doesn't he?
yeah, I reckon he is. Gee, we've seen a few players come over from Victoria, and you know, I don't want to be hard on him. He's only 20 and he's playing in a club where he doesn't know the players, but just doesn't look right to me. Surely there are some guys in the district there that are just as good. I don't know.
Well, he won the Geelong Best and Fairest in the reserve, so he must have some sort of talent.
Yeah.
But, Bruce, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's just a little bit on the slowest side?
I tell you what I did notice just before half-time, he was absolutely exhausted, Ian, and Peter.
Maybe that was it.
The runner went out and had a word to him because Robertson was getting loose late in that quarter. Fetke could not raise a gallop, and it was interesting in the interview you had with Graham, Ian, and the fact that Graham Campbell insisted he wanted to play him up forward. Now, he was forced to send him back to centre-half back. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see John Seabohm come back after half-time if that shoulder isn't too bad, because I think Fetke had a problem before half-time. He looked to be very tired indeed. The running players for Central District in that term seem to come good also. Hearn got a couple of important kicks. Van Dommel got some important kicks. Craig's an important player for the men. Now, he's had pneumonia. They took him off halfway through the second quarter and put Collins on. I think Craig, they'd want a big lift from him if he comes back after half-time on the ground.
Yes, I think the running players for Centrals have done more damage. I'm thinking of Van Dommel, Hearn and also Platten, and getting the ball away from centre. They appear to be doing that better than the Bays at the moment. I think the ruck duels are possibly about even though, Pete.
Yeah, I think that probably the dog players are doing a little bit better, but Peter Carey is perhaps the most effective ruckman still. I reckon
That's more around the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon Kernahan might be at centre half forward, but we'll see what happens. The game is just about to get underway again.
Right, we'll take a break and we'll come back after that break for the second half. The Bulldogs are back on the ground after half-time. And of course, as you know at home, this match has been designated as a benefit day for Greg Edwards. And if you couldn't make it to the ground today and you'd like to make a donation, it's Post Office Box 10, Elizabeth 5112 for the Greg Edwards benefit. By the way, Glenelg won the reserves by 40 points. That's a bad blow to Central District because they were out of the 5, a couple of games behind Sturt, so that would make it almost impossible. The goal kickers, by the way, in the match so far, for Central, Wharton's got 1, Robertson 1, O'Neill 1, and 4 to Platten. And for Glenelg, 1 to Carey, 2 to McGuinness, 1 to 12tree, 2 to Kidney, and 1 to Maynard. Ian, is going to be very important. This first 5 or 10 minutes, dry ball, the Bays would want an early goal or two.
Yes, Bruce. They started very well, if you recall, in that second quarter, but in the first quarter, when they were kicking with the breeze, I reckon it's got to be a 3 to 4 goal breeze. Central had 1-2 on the board before the Bays even opened their scoring. And, Peter, they didn't get out of the blocks well at all.
No, they didn't, Ian, and just trying to see there whether Seabohm's back on the ground. I noticed that Maynard is, and he's limping fairly noticeably with that knee. I can't see Seabohm, so he may not be back there, but yeah, I think that Glenelg have tended this year to be inconsistent from week to week and also inconsistent in their games. They play it in fits and starts, and I think that's probably because of the way a lot of their players play. McGuinness is a guy that's a confidence player. When he's up, he's brilliant. When he's down, he's not only not brilliant, he just doesn't get the ball when he's down. And I think the difference between Glenelg's best and their worst is a great deal.
I notice Gavin Walsh is on the ground, Ian, so Alan Stringer hasn't resumed. I wonder if Carl Fetke will go to centre half forward and Gavin Walsh to centre half back, but Walsh definitely out there for the Bays.
Alan Stringer's not out there either, did you say, Bruce?
That's right, I think he's on the interchange bench.
Oh, right, and can you see across there and see if actually Seabohm is there, or hasn't he come back onto the turf at all?
I'm not too sure, Ian, but we'll find that out. I'd say Seabohm's on the interchange with Alan Stringer.
Right, so he could come back at a later stage if they need him. Young Kidney, Peter, his first effort was quite good. He didn't get a lot of kicks around the ground in field play, but he got a couple of very nice goals from the forward pocket area.
Yeah, he's only had 4 kicks and 3 handballs. I think that you need to do more than that as a rover, but it's his first game. He appeared to know what he was doing, but he's up against a top rover, by the way, in Platten. Platten and Norsworthy are very, very good. McGuinness has done well for Glenelg, though. He comes under a lot of criticism from a lot of people, but he's still a good player.
Tony Simons is another player that hasn't done all that well at this stage. He's only had 2 kicks and 2 handballs. Better player than that. The start of the second quarter, at the moment, it's Central Districts by a point, and the umpire's going to rebounce the ball. Umpire Laurie Argent, actual fact, is going to throw it up. Bything got his hand to it. Simons, who I mentioned, immediately comes into the action with a kick around the corner. Cloessi shows it one way, goes the other, and finds Robertson on the outer side. Connolly it is. Connolly close to the line. Puts it high towards Robertson now. As I said, probably one of the few players who are getting the ball consistently in the attack for either team other than the Rovers. And as Bruce has told you, Gavin Walsh is on the field, and that was him in the action there.
There's Gavin Walsh at centre half back. Fetke at centre half forward for the Bays. Carey got it down, but it's going to be balled in again. Holst is on Wilbur Wilson. Wilbur's back onto the ground. David Holst did a very good job on that player. Hearn appears to be at full forward. He's certainly standing alongside Farquhar. Ball comes out to Bything, can't get a kick away. Norsworthy steals the ball. Still trying to get it clear, gets a free kick, plays it on to Van Dommel, or the handball was dropped by Van Dommel. another ball up. Yes, the Tigers would certainly want to start better than they did in that first quarter. The runners have done a fair bit of work for respective sides. Not bad doing work today. It's one way of keeping yourself warm. Very cold out here. Another free kick. It'll go to Chloe Hesse, I think. Yes, he's holding the hand. And it was for a kick in danger. And obviously that's what the boot hit. Chloe Hesse's hand.
Darren Clohessy from the check side of the centre circle. Nice looking drop putt, starting to hold up into the breeze now. Getting there, Robertson can't bring it down. Through Hewitt, Platten. Hewitt's going to get the free kick on the half-back line. Started on one wing, now playing in defence. Thought about Gavin Walsh on the outer side. He's going to think about him again. Robertson cutting across him, but Walsh gets the kick away. Not well directed to Wharton. Can't hold it. Clohessy. Vivian. Chances his arm does it well. That was Livesey. Over the half-forward line. Krieg back on the turf, but the kick is not a good one. And in defence finds Spark. Looking for running players. He's almost twisting himself off his stops, trying to find one, but decides to kick long towards Marshall. Krieg! Oh, what a fine mark. Running player O'Brien in towards full forward. Wilson back on the ground, can't quite get there. Hearn back, taps it across. Platten and Farquhar tap back into play, but coming back quickly now is Walsh. Under pressure. Finds Holston support, and out further still is Fetke. Or was it Salisbury? Kick long towards the half-forward line. Tony Hall on the lead was Kernahan, but Bubner playing well, slips it back. Short. Clohessy.
Bubner backs it up. The handball is missed. The Dogs are going to get out of trouble, though, through Van Dommel. Wharton's a mile out in his own. Gee, the Dogs, I think, like going to the southern end. Short to Wilson, he's got it. Wilbur hasn't been in it much today. Third kick only, plays it on. Robertson under the ball, and he's also taken a mark. He plays on. Very loose defensive work, the Bays. Gee, Walsh just stood there and had a look at him. Second goal, Robertson. 8-9 the Dogs, 7-8 Glenelg.
Well, Peter, you mentioned the fact that there was a certain amount of looseness in the Bay defence. Well, you couldn't have been more right than you were on that occasion. Wilson, who appears to be playing full forward. Robinson was clear. Walsh had to go back and find him, and Robertson elected to play on. No pressure put on him at all, and shot accurately from about 20 metres out. 7 points in favour of the Dogs. Wilbur Wilson, nearly 3 goals per game.
Gee, what problems Glenelg are having. It's centre half back. Krieg gets the handball clear. McFarlane stops it. Salisbury puts the handball out. Norsworthy trying to get rid of the ball and can't. And the umpire will have to ball it up. Yeah, the Dogs look a bit more desperate at this stage than Glenelg, and the Bays would, I think, need a pretty strong lead at three-quarter time to win this. Bytheen, Carey, Van Dommel ducks the head. Salisbury can't get rid of the ball. It's just about holding the ball if he's not careful. Go the other way, he gets a free kick. Lucky under an umpire. McDermott. Kernahan, he's got it. I think that may be his first mark. I can't recall him taking one. No, it's his second. Fifth kick to Kernahan. One thing about Stephen Kernahan, though, you can't keep him out of a game all day. Then he needs to be in it 10 minutes. Fine kick for goal. That one's gone straight through the middle for his first. Glenelg 8-8, the Dogs 8-9.
The Dogs by a point. The umpire forced to throw the ball up. Bytheen's tap away. Van Dommel, Platten, Krieg out wide of Vivian. Oh, he runs into his own player. Not good football there. And the ball is bottled up almost back in the centre circle. The early part of it was good. I think it was Connolly who ran a dead heat then with Vivian, his own team man. Vivian's the one that should have taken it. He was going towards goal. Bytheen and Carey. Bytheen's probably got just as much strength now as Carey. Platten, Robertson, beautifully done. Krieg on the leaders. Wilson again up towards that player. He's got up very early. Getting back on it is Hewitt. Norsworthy gets there first. Gavin Walsh under pressure. Holding the ball, yelled the crowd. The umpire not interested. Connolly dispossessed. Bradley Wharton Gets it out wider. Norsworthy getting back on the ball now. Dummies, twist, turns, dispossessed. Desperate defensive work by McDermott towards Holst. He looks like his legs. The umpire agrees and gets the free kick from the back pocket.
David Holst played pretty well today. He's been very defensive, but that's what he must be first, of course, defensive. Attacking if he can later set it up. Krieg, a high ball, Wilson underneath it. And he took it on the chest. McFarlane through the pack. Oh, danger handball. Picking up Hearn. The kick smothered. Fine defensive work, Hewitt. The player's lucky to get out of that with just a point against them here.
Oh, breathtaking stuff, Peter. What a great interception, but the handball, as you said, dangerous. Could have cost them a goal. David Holst to boot the ball back into play. Carey centre field. Fisted away by Byfield. McDermott. Also in there was Kidney. Doocy hasn't been in the game a great deal. On the left leg, goes to the half-forward line. Couldn't quite get to it, Pesky. Coming away strongly. Freed to Platten. Platten unloaded to get rid of the ball. Connolly at centre wing. It's not McFarlane. Across in the middle, however, was McFarlane. He didn't want that player. Petke through. Marshall. Ball held to him. The umpire was back. Can easily tell what stand we're in.
The Central District stand. Still, nothing like good strong support from his supporters. Carey got that down. Salisbury, a high ball to centre half forward. Simons is not in a good position. Well, he backs it up well, though. The tackle's on. Van Dommel. Trigg. Been a fine player today, Stephen Trigg. Had a great second quarter. Robertson has the ball knocked away from him by Farquhar. Farquhar came down a long way then because Farquhar's on Robertson. Walsh is on Hearn. Walsh may be at full back, in fact. Vivian close to the line. I think there'll be a bounce here. So I think that move was probably had to be made because Farquhar is a quick player and he's also pretty tight by Thien. Now it's out. The Dogs are 8-10, Glenelg 8-8.
Played 8 minutes of the second quarter. Carey and Bytheen at the throw-in. Kidney and Platten, the two rovers, towards Platten. Salisbury, however, has got it. Doothie. Marshall provides the run. Bone comes to meet the ball. Can't get it out. Well done. 12-3. Shrugs the tackle on the left leg up towards Kernahan. Bubner there with him. Over the back. Kernahan gets back there first. You'll need support. Hooks around the corner, but can't hook it far enough. In fact, it's gone out of play. Not on the full. Must have been close to it. Right hard up against it. Behind post. Kernahan and Bubner. Bubner's played particularly well. Keeping down some good players. Kernahan tried to hook it back to McGuinness, couldn't quite get it there. McDermott under pressure, concedes ground, back to Maynard into the pocket, and the ball kicked high back by Platten, close to the line. In fact, it's out on the full, and is it going to be Fedke's free kick? Fedke from the right forward pocket, 35 metres out. The breeze will help him, but gee, the angle's still very great. With the left leg, put it up in the square. Bubner, Kernahan over the top, and Platten chases it across the line.
Kernahan is struggling to get into the game, and the Bays need him. They need some other score. Well, they need a goal-scoring avenue. They haven't had one yet. Jamie Thomas got it away. Dermott did it well for McGuinness. McGuinness has got clear onto that dangerous left boot, but not too dangerous on that occasion. A point. Glenelg now 8-9 to the Dogs 8-10.
Yes, the Bays want some goals in a hurry. Bubner thinks about kicking to himself, I would think, to come out the grandstand side, but he's going to the dead pocket. Out there, it's Fedke. Paid the mark. Swing in front. Never got off the ground. Fedke swings out on that left leg. The kick is not a good one, but finds Carey. I might be uncharitable, but it didn't look as though to me it was meant for Carey. Found him beautifully.
Went right to him.
Kick number 10 to Peter Carey. He's about 45 metres out. The big fellow should make the distance. Screw punt underway. It's a magnificent kick. The umpire hardly moves except to indicate Peter Carey's got his second. 9-9 Glenelg.
8-10 the Dogs.
The Dogs are into attack. Wharton marks at half forward. The Dogs still capable of running that ball against the breeze. Wilson underneath the ball. Walsh knocks it away from Hearn. And another point to the Dogs. They're now 8-11. Glenelg and 9-9.
Wilson had a spell in that second quarter on the interchange bench. That first half, David Holst was on him and only gave him a smell. But he's back now at full forward. Carey in front. Marshall searching for it, but Platten winds his way out with it. Krieg back towards Wilson again. Holst comes to meet it. Thumps it away again. Oh, in front it was Bunga Hearn. Can't get it out. Holst goes in. Holst and Hearn. Over the top was Clohessy. No, it is Connolly, and the umpire will come in and bounce. 8-11, 9-9. Carey's goal put the Bays back in front by 4 points.
Carey's kicked 2 for the day, along with Kidney and McGuinness. Or Wilson tunnel balls that. Played very, very congested. Wharton for the Dogs. Can't quite get there, and the umpire's going to have to ball it up again. As Platten got 4, Robertson 2 for the Dogs. And those 3 players I mentioned from Glenelg with 2 each. Neither side has a full forward of note. Bytheen got it down. Holst. He appeared to throw that. Yes, the umpire picked it up. He had one hand held, and the only thing you can do, Ian, when that happens is kick it.
Attempt to kick it, Peter.
Yeah.
Did he actually? Well, it was an open-handed one, but I'm just wondering whether he lost the ball before and he was trying to tap it away. But the umpire saw it as a throw. Norsworthy's got the free kick. He's 25 metres out in front. Should not miss this one. Hasn't kicked a goal today yet. And look, the markers on him, missed it easily.
Yes, an important miss. Glenelg at this stage wouldn't want goals against them. Darryl Hicks very pensive. Well, Glenelg players let it go. Vivian got it out to Platten. Platten tries to get out of trouble. Handballs it to the umpire. Misses him. McDermott, McFarlane and Maynard. The Bays are going to get out of trouble momentarily. Maynard sidestepped the Platten thrust. Fedke can't mark the ball. Krieg starting to get some good touches. Krieg. Robertson again. Short Wharton. Now who's standing Wharton? So often have we seen him on his own this quarter. Beautiful pass to Wilson. Wilson thought about Norsworthy. Has another think. Then he has another think and gives it to Vivian.
Maynard's on Wharton, Peter, and I'm wondering whether because of that knee injury he can't raise a gallop. But it's certainly not Vivian's man, and that would be Doothy on the outer side, I think.
Yeah, Maynard, I think you're right, Ian. He's an attacking player, and he's not getting back quickly enough. Wharton's dragged that one as well. Vivian, I should say, and that is 2 significant misses for the Dogs, 2 set shots. 8-13 to the Bays, 9-9, Bruce.
Michael Farquhar's gone to centre half back, Peter, and he's now on Jeff Robertson.
Marshall, centre half back, goes to the outer side. Certainly Maynard doesn't look to be inconvenienced. He runs it over to Hewitt. In turn, McGuinness. The Bays running the ball well. McDermott, 1 too many. Put him under pressure. Great tackle. Just 1 too many, and Graham Campbell does not like that at all. Just overdid it fractionally. Kick out by Hearn. Marked by Wharton. He's covering some ground. As he goes high towards centre wing. Kick number 7. Platten, or the tackle was high, but he was about to go off. Kidney won't let him go now, but the umpire's paid 15 metres. Brings him almost to the half-forward line. On the leads, Van Dommel. Not going towards that player. Puts it up in towards Robertson. Back there was Farquhar. Fine mark.
Good mark. Judged very well to the centre of the ground. Clohessy behind 12-3. Marshall came in. Maynard let it go. Platten's handball to Norsworthy was good. Oh, good tackle on Norsworthy. It comes out to Wharton again. Maynard still a long way behind. Wilson's got it. This is definitely a goal. Wilson's got it first. The Dogs 9-13 to the Bays 9-9.
That's what the Central crowd have been waiting for. You think he's popular out this way? McDermott lost it. Once again, Platten set up the play. Norsworthy Wharton. Now watch Holtz lose his footing. He's in the right spot. Backed up, and Wilson took the ball home. Last over his shoulder, teased the opposition, his first, and the Dogs get the lead back.
Bradley Wharton providing problems for the Bays. Maynard can't keep up with him. Hall gave it to Carey. Carey's kicked it to Bubner. Not intentionally, of course, but I'm just trying to find where Kernahan is. Kernahan's in the centre of the ground, and that's a fine mark from Scott Salisbury. Well, the Bays are going to have to fight now. They're going with the breeze. We're 17 minutes or so into the third quarter. The Bays are behind by 4 points. Salisbury thought about it a lot, but not a good kick. Offhand's a point. 9-10 the Bays, the Dogs 9-13, and they seem to have a bit more purpose, the Dogs' end.
I agree, Peter. Can you recall in that second quarter when Glenelg were kicking into the breeze, the first 15 or 20 minutes belonged to Glenelg, and then the Dogs come back? I wonder whether the Bays can do the same in reverse this quarter. They're going to have to. Livesey, Beatles out of defence, got some toe, drives one towards the lead of Robertson, and that's well taken. Livesey backs up for the 1-2, but as you can see, the ball has run out of play. The idea was right, perhaps, but it didn't work. Throw in. Kernahan. In O'Neill. Kernahan, O'Neill, Platten, still at the bottom of the pack. He's been there all afternoon, grovelling for the ball, but the umpire will bounce centre wing out of sight. Centrals by 3 points. Kernahan. O'Neill thumps the ball away. Platten can't get there first on this occasion. It's McFarlane hooks around the corner, close to the line. Beautifully done, McDermott. The running player is Kernahan. Kernahan in turn now, 12-3. Over the half-forward line, short as Fedke. That's the way it's going. And he's got the ball at centre half-forward. Will make the distance easily. Now, Graham Campbell said that his kicking's let him down in recent weeks. Kick number 8. Natural left-footed. Nice-looking drop putt, this one, but it stood off the side. Kerry at the back. Bubner in front. The big fellow lumbers after it. Bubner gets there first, but can't keep the ball in play. He's going to get a free kick.
Yes, I think he had to apply the kick there, Graham Campbell. It's a lot of hard work down at the Tigerland this year. Good leap from Trigg, couldn't quite take the mark. Duthie comes away with the ball. It's a big kick. It's coming back with the breeze. I think he's popped it through. Duthie's first goal, and an unexpected one from the Bays. They're now 10-10 to the Dogs 9-13.
Yes, Duthie hasn't had a really big afternoon. In actual fact, that was his only 6th kick. But on that occasion, it was a huge one. And look at him break clear now. A tall, rangy player. And in fact, the ball came back from the wrong side. You couldn't see that in the replay. It looked like it was going to miss on the left-hand side of the post. But it just came back. Peter Carey showed that he's quite happy about it. And Duthie having a good season, an average of 18 disposals.
O'Neill got hand of the ball, but it went to Hall. Marshall tried to kick it on. McDermott ducked the head, got through the tackle. Oh, the kick's not a good one, though. Bubner, yes, he's being paid. The umpire has indicated that he was being held on. But he's going to give 15 metres against Kidney. Bruce McAvaney.
David Holtz has gone to the centre, Peter. Scott Salisbury has gone into the back pocket by the look of it, and David Marshall probably onto a wing onto Stephen Livesey. So Graham Campbell's made some moves.
Well, I suppose he's desperate. If he loses this one, 83 is gone. Could not possibly make the 5. Even now his hopes are very, very slim indeed. Actually, the 15-metre was given against the Bays because the Glenelg player played on and just about kicked the ball into the Elizabethtown centre. They've just gone to get it back, and now Peter Bubner will take his free kick. Actually, was at his mark. Whatever, it was so long ago, can't remember what happened. To the outer side. Oh, a lot of people got up there early. Krieg at the back. Goes along towards centre wing. Robertson will be the leaper. Good mark. Farkle too late. Robertson's gone right upfield to get the ball. He's at centre wing at the moment. In fact, the check side of centre wing. He gives the ball over now to Connolly. Connolly on the left leg. A socks down player towards Wharton. Used his body well, but I think you've found that he used it illegally on this occasion, and Maynard takes the free kick.
I think he might be giving it to Hewitt. No, Maynard's free kick. His 14th kick. He's been an attacking defender, but he's paid the penalty. Back it goes to Norsworthy. Kick's not going to take much distance or make much distance. Dennis caught again and again. What's the umpire going to do? Is he going to have a bounce or a...
Free kick to Norsworthy for a high tackle.
Norsworthy and Platt, pretty good drivers for the Dogs. Puts one out to Livesey, genuflects and takes it. On the outer side of the ground, Robertson in front of Farquhar. Nearly took the mark, Robertson. Glenelg player went down and will get a free kick. They've been a bit technical today, and players in front are certainly getting the benefit. Hewitt, Fedke on a lead. Through the pack it goes. 12th tree fell over at the wrong time. Fedke again for the Tigers. Gets a kick away. Hall at centre half forward. Gets the handball out. Kidney in trouble though. Can't get it clear. Kicks it off the ground. A chance for Toothy. Puts it onto the left boot. It's coming back. Carey puts hands up but can't quite mark it. And I think it's rolled over the boundary line. Yes, it has.
The Bays can't get a winner in attack. It's their problems. Central's not much better. Snapshot by McDermott. Bay player ridden into the ground there. McDermott comes out. Carey can't get it. Desperate defence. Van Dommel, but a free kick will go the way of Bone for hanging on. He'll elect to play on quickly. Drives it back towards Holst. Connolly up. Holst in front. McFarlane can't. Krieg, McFarlane. Also there is Connolly, but the umpire will bounce. Half forward left flank with the Bays in attack.
It's not a bad move of Holst to the centre of the ground because his form's been good. Kernahan up very high, pushes away, but Connolly has the run of the ball. It's the handball out. It's off hands now to McDermott. Behind the pack is Simons, but off hands again. A point. Glenelg are now 10-11 to the Dogs 9-13. Bruce McAvaney.
If it stays this close, Peter, the odds are with Central. In the 4 games that the result has been less than a goal, Central have won them all.
Gee,
Van Dommel.
amazing odds in. 4 to none.
Have a cope each way.
Oh.
Van Dommel from the back pocket. Glenelg by 4 points, not enough. Livesey. Trigg towards centre wing. Maynard, but a free kick has gone to Bradley Wharton, or is it Robertson? Robertson will be on the outer side for a push in the back, and this will put the Dogs into attack. Very mobile player, a good player, Jeff Robertson. Number 9 this afternoon. 6 handballs as well as he goes towards Livesey. Can't keep it in play. Approaching time on in the 3rd quarter. Glenelg 10-11. The Dogs 9-13.
Yes, they haven't done enough, Glenelg, in this quarter. Nowhere near enough. But they indicated that they could kick goals against the breeze. Kick 2 in the 2nd term. Holst takes it. A long handball. Hall. McGuinness hasn't been in it this quarter. Kidney, one-handed mark. He's got it. Oh, he turned around. He had a chance to play on. But he stopped. I don't know if he can make the distance. That's when he had the chance. Perhaps he did the right thing. Got a hooking type of action. The ball coming back. It's off hands again. Yes, another point for the Bays. They need goals. 10-12 they are now to the Dogs 9-13.
Jamie Thomas has got his left knee tightly strapped there. Didn't see that happen. Van Dommel towards the half-back flank, intercepted by Marshall. Marshall has got McGuinness short. He wants the ball into the pocket now, but Marshall is going for Carey. The big fellow lumbers into position. He's going to get underneath this one. One grab, he can't quite get there. Trigg back in defence. Platten running towards the pocket. With him there is Simons, but the ball is out of play, but not before Platten will get a free kick for a push in the back. Johnny Platten. As good as any Central's player this afternoon. Kick number 15. Kernahan got the ball. Oop, close to 15 metres. It's 15 metres. Wasn't the most sensible thing to do. And that could bring Kernahan very close to kicking the distance. Stephen Kernahan taking his time. The Bays need a score and need it in a hurry. Not going to make the distance with that one, I don't think. Very close. Bubner, one grab. Carey stopped him. Simons can't get it out. Here's a chance. Fetke! Goal. Beautifully done, big fellow. And the Bays needed it. That's their 10th. His first.
Darryl Hicks probably not too happy about that result, because there was a bit of looseness there, and Tony Simons did the good job because he read the ball off hand. Simons, you have a look at his position behind the pack. There he is. He ran under the two players jumping for the ball. Simons takes it off hands, gets the handball out to Fedke. It came off a Central District player, and Fedke kicked his first. 11-12 the Tigers, the Dogs 9-13.
Kernahan and O'Neill, Livesey, Hearn, away from centre goes Centrals now to the half-forward line, getting back on it. Oh, that was Scott Salisbury, and he's going to get a free kick against Van Dommel, and he'll have to go back behind his mark to take it. Into time on by 2 or 3 minutes, must be close to three-quarter time. You saw Darryl Hicks very close to the line there, anticipating the siren. They've got themselves in a winning position. Time will tell whether they're good enough. McDermott to the half-forward line, dumped away by Fedke, or from Fedke. Holst looks for a running player, Duthie. Right there with him is Vivian. Duthie will need help. Try to give it back towards Holst, not far enough. Kidney in, Holst wants it back out again now, but the little fella's going it alone. Now he's got to give it away. Duthie didn't want it then. Gives it back to Holst. Hooks high, wide and handsome. In fact, it just registers a point. Perhaps if the little fellow, the youngster, gave it away first, thought Peter, it might have been more easily set up.
Yeah, Bruce McAvaney.
Mark Norsworth has just gone down into the club rooms. He's got mud in his eye, apparently, Peter. They're going to try and wash it out, and Peter Collins has come onto the ground.
Yeah, pretty painful situation like that, but Butler kicks off now. Bay should have scored a goal there. They mucked around a bit, and I agree with Ian Day. The first movement from Kidney was what was needed. Holding the ball. The tackle appeared to be slightly high there, and the umpire's not generally consistent with that decision. Time running out again for the Bays. We're well into time on now. Maynard's 15th kick. Again, he follows his player down. A big leap by Simons. Almost took a great mark. Through comes Jamie Thomas. Or the kick away is going to put the Dogs in trouble. A bad bounce. Duthie. Off hands again. Duthie recovered well. David Holst in trouble. Handball away was Agricultural. Trigg on the ground. He's going to hold the ball there as well he might. Tigers desperate for another score, Ian, and certainly attacking fairly relentlessly at the moment.
Yes, Peter, but the Dog defence is standing up pretty well. They're desperate. They've got to win this game, and they've got a chance from here. Dumped away there by Fedke, but it was straight to Bubner. His kick is not a good one. And Leon 12-3 says, thank you very much. Darryl Hicks most concerned at the moment, waiting for that siren to go, but it won't make any difference now. 12-3 will have his kick. Number 8, there's the siren. Three-quarter time. And 12-3 settles down again. The crowd trying to put him off by yelling. 12-3's kick. Home for all money. That's his second. And at three-quarter time, Glenelg 12-13 lead Central Districts 9-13.
Three-quarter time at Elizabeth, and you can see the rain is coming down at the moment. The wind blowing strongly. That'll keep Darryl Hicks happy, but that was a cruel blow, that goal by Leon. 12-3 for Central District, and the fact that the Bays ended up getting away to a 3-goal lead. In fact, they kicked 5-5 in that quarter to 2-4, which is a little surprising in a way, Ian and Peter, because Central District seemed to do very well, but Glenelg at the end of that term has certainly put themselves in with a chance.
Yeah, Bruce, I was just thinking in the break, I don't think Glenelg have played really that well today. I felt for a period of about 10 minutes in the second quarter they played well, and for about 5 to 8 minutes, I think, in that quarter they played well. But bear in mind, and you've made the point in part, they've got 2 goals on the bell. Now, we've talked enough about the first one. They just got that one, and Ian, I guess that if you look at it from that point of view, Glenelg are a little bit lucky to be where they are.
Certainly, Peter, if you recall, we were saying very close into time on, as a matter of fact, that the Bays only led by about 4 points at that stage, and it looked like they didn't have enough. But if the rain comes down and they've got a 3-goal advantage, they've still got every chance of winning this game. And Darryl Hicks realised that he can't afford to let it get away. He's out there with his charges, just exhorting them to greater efforts, because it could be the equivalent to their grand final.
Ian, I mentioned at half-time that Peter Krieg would be an important player in that third quarter. I'd be interested to see how many kicks he had. He looked to have a very big term, but he did run out of puff again at the end of that term. Now, if Krieg can fire, then I'd say that Central District has got a great chance.
Yeah, he had 5 kicks, in fact, Bruce, but I thought that David Holst picked up some important touches there late when he went into the centre late in that quarter. But Creek did have 9 touches, 5 kicks and 4 handballs, but I think that Fedke looked a little bit better there at centre-half forward. I think that Farquhar coming out to centre-half back is better, and I think Holst into the centre is better, and I think Glenelg, perhaps with those positional changes, are better placed at this stage than they were earlier in the game.
Pete, I still think that they look a little brittle in defence. You know, every time the ball gets down there, the Bays seem to be chasing jumpers. There's too many loose players around.
Yeah.
And Walsh obviously couldn't handle the centre-half back spot. They put him into the back pocket. And but nevertheless, they tightened towards the end there with Holst to centre. And who knows from here? Bruce.
Let's have a look at the stats in for the first 3 quarters. The kicks very even still, 142 to 139 in Central's favour. The marks 51 to 38. Handballs 73 Glenelg and 60 Central. The frees 25-24, very even, and the rucks 8-6. It's been interesting, the rucks. O'Neill, in fact, what Daryl Hicks did then, he ran O'Neill and Bytheen off the interchange bench. He had them both on the ground in the first half. I don't know if it worked. I think Peter Carey's played a very good game. Stephen Kernahan's been useful. Yeah,
I think in terms of actually getting hand to ball, the dog ruckman have been a mile in front. But I'm just told by my statistician that I'm entirely wrong. 24 hands to the ball for Central District, and Glenelg have had 35. So the Glenelg ruckman getting their hands to the ball, and I must admit I haven't seen it that way, but our statistician is always right.
Maybe Bruce getting back to the ruckman off the bench into the breeze. It might not have been a bad idea, trying to get a bit more mobility with the introduction or the reintroduction to Wilbur, and he did provide a bit of dash there in the forward line, whereas the big fellows lumber a little bit in front of the sticks.
I thought John Platten had a particularly good third quarter. He has played well all day. Tony McGuinness died just a little in that term, so they'd want a big effort from McGuinness in this final quarter. He seems to get most of his kicks from centre to full forward these days, Peter.
Yes, he does, Bruce, and he's widely criticised for that, and I think it was a very good point that Graham Campbell made to Ian Day, that he's still only a young player, and I think a lot of people say, gee, he's a Magarey medalist, therefore he should know the game. But Ian, at 18, you've got such a lot to learn, haven't you?
Peter, at 18, you and I, had played about 1 or 2 games as well, not many more. You might have played more, but you're only a very young player in terms of football knowledge. Experience is a great thing, and experience is something that you can't get until you've had it, and that doesn't come out of the Oxford Dictionary. But there's no way known that he's not going to be a far better footballer than he is now in the future, and I think, like you, a lot of people are just expecting a little too much of him.
Well, it's really 1983 resting on this final quarter for both clubs. An important 30 minutes for both of them. We're in for a great finish, 3 goals the difference. I noticed that David Holst is still in the centre, Peter, and it looks like at centre half-back still Michael Farquhar. Jeff Robertson really has played well, hasn't he?
He's been a good forward for the Dogs, and Stephen Trigg has also been a good back player.
Centre bounce, final quarter from Elizabeth. The Bays by 12 points. Carey didn't get his hands to the ball. Van Dommel, McGuinness in there, working his way into a position to get pushed in the back is Snout McFarlane. Kernahan's at full forward, but it's Maynard who kicks across, goal out towards centre wing. Holst had to go chase it. He thought he had it covered until the breeze stopped it. Marshall. Corner. Here's a chance for Glenelg. There's 3 on 1. 12-3 gets it over to Tony Hall. Coming to meet him, Thomas. Hall beats that player. Oh, he beat him far too easily. Kicks towards goal and he's homed it. Oh, what a start for Glenelg. First goal, Tony Hall. And then we saw the Dog defence a little brittle like we saw Glenelg earlier.
Isn't it amazing, Ian? The sides kicking against the breeze always start against the breeze better than their opposition. And Tony Hall got through the opposition there as I wasn't there. A neat little pirouette. He'd go well in the Australian dance company, that guy.
Centre bounce again. The Bays now a 4-goal advantage. That could be critical of the Dogs. Van Dommel. The umpire will come and rebounce the ball. 13-13 to 9-14. Rain just holding off. Umbrella's still around. Bytheen's tap away. Van Dommel had one effort, then went in for the second one. This time he hasn't got it. Pulled off the ball by McGuinness, undecided by the umpire, and a rebound.
He's a bit unlucky then, Van Dommel. I'd agree with Ian Day. The umpire didn't see it. Or if he did, he should have given him a free kick. Carey got hands to the ball then. McGuinness didn't get the handball out quickly. Vivian missed it entirely. McFarlane, McDermott. The Bays playing better. Trigg was held. You saw that one. 15 metres as well. Actually, the umpires don't like players playing on, and I somewhat agree with that. It's a time-wasting.
Yes, Peter, it depends. If the whistle goes and it's your free kick, you get the advantage by playing on, but if it's not, you don't only lose the ball, but you get 15 metres as well.
On they go. Vivian, Livesey ran through the pack. Didn't get very far. Vivian now, Creed, and he gets the free kick for pushing the back. Yes, players are getting front spot and playing for that free kick. The umpires are paying it, so you can't blame the players. High to centre half back, in front Farquhar, can't take the mark. Scott Salisbury recovers first. The umpire gave the free kick, but he elected to play it on. Hewitt, short to Carey. Carey goes down and takes it very low to the turn. He plays it on Salisbury. Tony Hall getting underneath it. Geez, a fine mark, Tony Hall. Got the handball on. 12-3 gave it back to Duthie, not to Duthie, Fetchy. Glenelg lost it. Van Dommel for the Dogs. Kicks it wide, looking for Platt. Connolly sweeps around the side. Wilson tried to give it to that player. Wilson's got white socks on. Kicks it high into the front of the goals. No mark. Maynard in trouble. Lucky not to be free kicked. The umpire will ball it up. He appeared to drop that one in.
Well, I agree with you, Peter. I was about to say that when he got tackled, he appeared to drop it. And then, of course, a push in the back came, but if you're going to pay the first free, it would have been holding the ball in my book. Bounced down, out in front of the Dog goals. 24 points down, they need one, and they need it in a hurry. Carey, beautifully done back to McGuinness, in turn McDermott. Vivian doesn't know whether to go to meet the player or chase his own. Finally, McDermott gets away up towards Tony Simons. That was a fine one-handed mark. Simons playing centre wing on the outer side at the moment, drives towards the half-forward line. Kernahan's come to meet the ball. In there is Thomas, and I think he's going to get a free kick. And I'm wondering, when I saw him try to tackle Tony Hall a little while ago, whether that left knee is worrying him, because his attempt to tackle wasn't all that strong. As he boots the ball back centre field, Carey in front, thumped away from that player. He's got it back again. He gives the handball away, but he's got no one to give it to. Krieg thieves it off him, kicks long, up towards Robertson, half-forward line. Salisbury playing well, drives it half-forward way.
Tony Hall underneath it again. Geez, Billy took another mark. Bohm is there and holds ground. Scott Salisbury read that ball beautifully off the pack there at centre half back. He's a vastly improved player, Salisbury. Carey and Bythene. Bythene very strong. A high tackle on Norsworthy. McDermott not happy. But the Dog Rover gets a free kick the fence side of centre. Plenty of time, but he gets the distance with the kick. Farquhar on his own. Jump back on that one very quickly. The two grabber. Foster's made ground. Glenelg almost conceded it there, and they've got no one to kick it to. Holster's going to have to kick it high over the pack. Duthie was interfered with. He can play it on now. Bubner, geez, played well. He gets front spot. Good mark.
He's been one of their top players, Peter. A difficult job to do on Kernahan as well, but it's not a day for the big forwards, that's for sure. The kick towards centre has been well taken there. It looks to be Van Dommel in front. Robertson was at the back. The two Dog players had it on, or providing some run is Norsworthy. That's well played, or he thought about going on, but he's within kicking distance, changed his mind. A buzz goes around the stand as they realised he was. Vivian makes the play. He's got it 30 metres out, just on a slight angle. Now the Dogs just simply must kick this goal. Couldn't ask for a player with more experience. Peter Vivian. Well, the umpire starting to move, but he's got it. Vivian's first goal, and the Dogs fight back. 10-13, they trail Glenelg 13-13.
The Bays by 3 goals. The Dogs have got the breeze. And that's been the case in the other quarters. Sides have certainly scored a lot more with it. We can expect it again this quarter. Bradley Wharton took the handball. That's a fine kick at goal. The pack gets back. The fists go up. Van Dommel is first. He's got a chance now. Left foot. Van Dommel gets his first goal, and the Dogs are in business. They trail now by 2.
Yes, what a fine goal, Van Dommel. He tried to come back on his right foot. Wharton, a beautiful kick into goal, a ground covering kick. But the Bays didn't recover well enough. Van Dommel came out onto the right foot, had to duck back. And that, from that angle, that's a good goal, and one that they badly needed. Only 2 kicks the difference, and the Central District's van starting to come alive. 24 disposals per game, Van Dommel.
Carey trying desperately for his side. Tunnel balls it. Players finding it hard to get it away, and again that free kick, which the crowd don't like, but it's Kidney on this occasion. He gave it to McDermott. He certainly didn't need it. McDermott had to get rid of it. 12-3, a one-grab player. Kernahan under the ball. Butler again. Close to the line. Finds Pratt. Butler just about be the Dogs' best player, I think, along with Pratt. Over to Chloe Hesse. Here's another good player, Robertson, but he's outmarked on this occasion by Michael Farquhar.
He'll get it across to Carey. Big super. Oh, trouble's here. He's got no one to give it to. Back to Farquhar. Out wider is Walsh. Walsh has the freedom to play on. Goes direct towards the half-forward line. Simons is out there. One hand up. Pryor cleverly. Vivian. Out wider still now was Hearn. Back to Vivian. Pryor joins in. The Dogs into attack again. Wilbur Wilson is clear. Got it half-forward line. Vivian wants it back. But Wilbur goes in long. It could bounce through. This is going to be fun. It's a goal! Oh, what a magnificent kick. His second. And off goes the roof of the Elizabeth grandstand.
See, that was a beautifully controlled kick. Have a look at Wilbur Wilson. He realised there was no one in the square. The Glenelg players weren't there. So with a controlled kick, he ran it through. That's superb. It's almost golfing strategy in the way he did that.
3 and 10 minutes. Graham Campbell looking worried. And with some justification, the ball is up by Thien. Flatten again. This time the ball is held to him, and the umpire will I was about to say bounce it, but he's been throwing it up. It's a ball up. Top Sunday football on 7. Trusting you're enjoying it there by the fire. Kidney tries to get out, but he's jammed in. No, he's going to get a free kick. Kidney from just the check side of the centre circle. Kernahan gives the lead. He's out at centre half forward at the moment. He and Bubner. Bubner's too strong again. Hall left the football behind. Bone. Low-SE made a mistake with the hands. Tried to tunnel ball it. Batters up again. Off the knee there of Bone. Back towards centre field. Platten. Kidney again. Gives the handball away. Hall. Holt. Holt kicks to the open spaces. Jamie Thomas can't quite make it. Quickly in there's Beck. He wants a running player. Hall is there. Thought about the handball. Kicks in long. Simons! Right on the edge of the square. Not as much noise this time. Sitting on the wrong stand for that. But Simons has got it right out in front. And this should give the Bays a breather.
Yeah, they've loosened up a bit, Glenelg. They've realised that they had to attack to win the game.
Simons, point-blank range. Kick number 5, nudges his first, and the Bays shoot back to 2 straight goals in front.
Well, the Bays got one back, but again they did it the hard way. Betke's handball missed Hall. Hall had to kick very quickly. Simons was right where he needed to be. And the Glenelg youngster, who's had a pretty good year, started off very well. He's had a few injury problems, but he's a very talented player. He got his first, and the Bays breathe again, and this is staying a lifetime for them, isn't it, Ian, for 83?
Carey playing a super last quarter. Couldn't get it to McDermott. Smothered off the boot there of Krieg. 12-3 throws it away. Aerial ping-pong, Norsworthy. Floessi, a high kick to the half-forward line. Robertson getting underneath it. Scalesbury up. Who's at the back of the pack? Wharton. Barker over the top. Can't get it. They're still in there searching for it. Arms and legs. Duthie gets it out to Maynard. Wharton and Maynard. Maynard looking for a free kick. The umpire will come in to adjudicate and decides on a bounce ball.
Yes, that was a light ball on that occasion. The umpires are going to have to be very wary of that push in the back free kick. They've played too many of them today. Still, I suppose they've been consistent with it. Duthie. Kernahan just gets there. Gee, that was a fine leap. He picked it up very low to the ground. I don't think I've ever seen Stephen Kernahan out of a game as much as he has been today. That's his 8th kick. Tony Hall up, recovers, gets tackled. The umpire will ball it up. 14-13 plays 12-13. We're past the 12-minute mark of this last quarter. And, the Central District win would see them put a great deal of pressure on Port Adelaide. A Glenelg win would see them stay alive for 83.
Graham Campbell looking particularly worried, and the president of the club, Bob Campbell, right behind him there. Norsworthy, Vivian, Bunga Hearn goes towards centre wing. Wharton, gee, can get out on his own. He does it well. Puts it into the open spaces. Golly knows who that was meant for. Salisbury dashes, leaves the football behind. Farquhar, he's played well since going to centre half back. Puts it back towards centre wing. The big fist come in. Norsworthy tackled very high. The kick finally finished up going the wrong way. McDermott at centre wing for the Bays. They're starting to fight on Glenelg. Getting underneath it, Bubner. But what a brilliant player he's been for the Dogs.
It's been too good. Peter Bubner goes short with that ball to Bytheen. Bytheen centres the ball. He's going to get 15 metres. The Glenelg player went over the mark. Again, the umpires slow the game down. Peter Bytheen. Plenty of time. He puts it wide. Gee, I think they might have preferred the first effort, but out on the full. Not a positive kick, that one. Scott Salisbury for the Bays will relieve. Sweeping kick. Bytheen, he's going to have another go. No, the umpire didn't play it. The Glenelg player was tackled there, and I think he expected a free kick. The player stopped. The umpire's going to bounce it.
I think most people did, Peter. Bounce on the half-forward left flank. Kernahan all getting up very high. Bytheen, Van Dommel. He's clear. The running power is Greg. Big Kerry's coming to meet that player. Gets to the bottom of the pack quickly in Van Dommel, and Vivian. Going back to Super for a high tackle. He needed that one at the moment. David Holst is clear. Experience showing between Kerry and Holst, slowing the play down. 2 goals is not enough. Not at the moment, it's not. A long kick to the half-forward line. Kernahan almost. Bubner. Good tackle. Simons. Getting back there was Bohm. With him is Twelftree. And he's bundled over the line for a throw-in.
The rain is keeping away. Central District certainly wouldn't want it to fall. Past the halfway mark of the last quarter. Bubner and Kernahan. Kernahan got it down to McGuinness. 12-3 on the run. Fedke and Trigg. Trigg's been a good player too. Gets past the Glenelg defenders easily. Oh, not a good kick away. Duthie's got it. Still a mistake by Trigg. Duthie's going to play it on. Maynard's made a yard. That wasn't a good kick from Duthie. Maynard will probably give it back to him. Back to where he started. A little exercise wasn't needed. Duthie sweeps one forward. Fedke comes out. Over the packet goes. Trigg and Hearn. Hearn gets the kick away. Vivian comes in and takes a good defensive mark. Plays it on by Bytheen.
He's out wide. Running play will be Van Dommel, but Big Kerry's going with him. He's done a lot of work. Goes towards Wharton, however, Maynard there covering plenty of ground. Takes a fine defensive mark. He certainly got over that knee problem quickly. Kick number 18 coming up. Maynard's been a fine performer for the Bays this afternoon. Drives out wide to Kernahan, but in front the mark is taken there by Robertson. Or was it Pryor? Pryor it was. Tony Simons over the half-forward line. In low. Quickly McGuinness. McGuinness on the left leg. Puts it high. Tony Hall searching for it. He's got it. Oh, what a mark! Running with the ball all the way. The breeze bringing it down quickly. And have a look at this in replay. Gee, what a top mark that was. Bohm couldn't hold him. And he's got it 15, 20 metres out. There's the angle. The umpire sending him around. Kick number 11. Tony Hall. He kicked the goal, the first of the quarter. He's going to have to take that right goalpost, I would suggest. Heads that way, back it comes through the middle. Second goal. And the Bays have got a 3-goal breather.
It's a very good mark of the ball, Tony Hall. Simons just got caught, but I think that helped Glenelg because McGuinness was one out and he was able to have a free kick at goal. And Simons never took his eye off it. Hall, should I say. Tony Hall, the second vital goal for the quarter. And, he is a player with an exciting future. No doubt about that.
Almost 2 goals a game. Centre bounce. Now, can Centrals come back from here? Carey against Bytheen. Ball comes out to centre wing, kicking around the corner. Livesey to the half-forward line. McFarlane first back there. Quite happy to see it go across the line for a throw.
85 plays 103, 3 goals the difference. 18 minutes into the last quarter. A few Central District supporters leaving the stand. Gee, I don't know why. Still got a strong breeze to go with. Carey put it down to Kidney, smothered by Platten. She's a tough little rover, this character. A great little character too. He's loved out here in Elizabeth. Bytheen gets the free kick. Carey has a bit of a chat with the umpire. Bytheen goes forward. Wilbur Wilson comes out, goes up, no mark. Hewitt, McFarlane doing hard work. Oh, he's kicked it out on the full. But he got a push in the back as well. Gee, and I wonder how many push in the backs they've played tonight.
Peter, I wouldn't have a clue, but the umpires like them these days. The player who's on the bottom of the pack or seems to be pushed forward at all, he gets them. Still, he's the player who's making the play, and I suppose that's fair enough. Carey, McDermott at the back of the pack. The Bay's hanging on pretty well. Coming across, Clohessy fisted out of play in front of 12-3. 15-13 to 12-13. We've played 18 minutes of the final quarter. The Dogs would want to go from here. Bytheen and Carey. Carey again taps it cleverly. The tackle on Kidney was high, but he did duck. But he's done well, the young fellow. 16 years of age. What a fine league debut. Kidney, kick number 8. Has booted 2 goals. Had 6 handballs as well to the half-forward line. Kernahan, almost the grab. Krieg. Kernahan again. Livesey at the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will bounce.
The Bays are desperate. So are the Dogs. 3 goals the difference. Kernahan against Bubner. Kernahan got it on that occasion. Furthered by 12-3. Kidney in again. He's a terrier. 12-3. Takes it off the pack. Plays it on. Tony Hall is scouting the pack. McInnes has got the run of the ball. He's free. Kicks with the left foot. 3 goals, McInnes. And that might be enough. 16-13 now the Bays. 12-13 the Dogs.
Yes, it was young Kidney who started that off when he got the handball out the first one. We didn't go back far enough in the replay. Never mind. It's McGuinness there, and Bones' tackle missed. And McGuinness thought about the handball to Simons going past, but what a fine snapshot for goal. 4 goals in front of the Bays, and I suggest to you that Dogs have got real problems.
Yes, there'll probably be about 10 minutes left in this game, I think, so they can certainly still win it. Peter Carey got hands to the ball there. Van Dommel couldn't get a kick away. Marshall can. Well, picked up well by Stephen Bowen. Kidney puts one hand up. Hulse comes in to lend a hand. Marshall's the runner. Beautiful kick. Fine mark, McGuinness. Marshall provides the run. I think McGuinness is going to go long with this. Tony Simons under the ball. Well, good mark there by Pryor.
Pryor in the back pocket. They want to move the ball quickly now. He gets the lead from Van Dommel. Gee, that's short. Put him under pressure. He got out of it well, but the handball away is not good at all. Tony Hall gives it back to Simons. 40 metres out, jams it onto his boot quickly, but he's well offline. But he gives them that extra score. Centrals are going to have to score 5 times now to win, and we've hit the 21-minute mark of the final quarter.
Tony Simons there. Had a bit of a space. McGuinness under the ball. Well, great tackle by Kidney on Bytheen. The umpires played a free kick to McGuinness. He was being held on to in that exchange. Jamie Thomas comes off. Connolly on. Kick number 15, McGuinness. 3 goals as well. He hasn't done too badly. There's a fine kick up forward. Simons under the ball. Great mark. Oh, he took that one very high up, right under the chin. Big leap.
Right, just a little late on the scene, Peter. Would have hurt.
I think so. Now, Simon's normally a good shot for goal. That last one he had wasn't the way he'd normally shoot. A bit quickly on that occasion. This is his 9th kick, Tony Simons. No, he's dragged it. Only a point. 16-15 now, the Bays. The Dogs are 12-13. And where do you think they've got it from, the Bays, in this last quarter, Ian, the run?
Well, I think that Carey's definitely got on top in ruck, Peter, and Marshall and the players across centre. The Rovers are coming into it, and their defence has stood up particularly well. There's big Carey in there, but I reckon he played a magnificent last quarter as Bohm gets the ball out. Cloesy towards Livesey, and the umpire classes that as a high tackle, and the free kick would go to Livesey on the half-back flank. Seconds running out for Centrals, however. Livesey will come to Cloesy or Bohm. Both are there. Bohm takes the mark, but they've just got to move the ball more quickly. We've played 23 minutes. Bohm goes towards the half-forward line. Robertson, quiet in the second half. Fine effort by Farquhar since going there, and McFarlane's quite happy to see the ball out of play.
Bytheen off the ground now. O'Neill took his place. The Dogs have got troubles. Trailing by 25 points, 26 in fact. Free kick will go to Northworthy. Robertson ran for him, but he gave it to Van Dommel. Robertson is still running wide. The kick will miss him though. Will-o'-the-wisp, Wilbur Wilson puts the ball on the ground and then gets a free kick for being held on to. Got to be careful with that one, Wilbur. It sometimes doesn't work. This is his 8th kick. He's kicked 2 goals today, but he hasn't been into a lot. He goes short, looking to walk. Doothy interjects and takes the defensive mark, and yes, there's Dean Mobbs with his head down. He'd feel very dejected at the moment, I would think.
I would think so, Peter. Wilbur should have gone from home. He's quite a good kick, a magnificent kick for snap shooting at goal, but he could have made the distance then, and they badly needed that goal to give them some confidence, some run. They got to get a lift from somewhere. Carey in there, another tap back towards Hall. Scott Salisbury, who's had a fine last quarter too. The ball comes out to Vivian, straightens up, chips out in front of Wharton, too far in front of that player. He half volleys it quite easily. Back to Vivian, but that put him under pressure. The handball went back to Wharton, but he can't get it. The base too strong. McGuinness runs it out. Marshall clear now. He's 12-3. Oh, he's got a paddock. Goes towards the half-forward line, chips out the pass. Kernahan, the big fella, gets there, lets the play on, kicks for goal, and that is just offline. A point for the Bays. But still, time is ticking away, and we're into time on the final quarter, and the Bays have got 4-goal-plus lead.
Bays have played it pretty well in the last half. Connolly hasn't played as well today, Connolly, as he has in the last couple of weeks. He centres the ball. Holst can't mark it. Farquhar. Very good game, Farquhar. Kernahan takes another mark. Plays it on. Maynard. Short on the lead. Fetke's got it. And the Bays finishing all over the Dogs at this stage. We're past full time. Fetke. As we said before, he's a little bit slow, but he's a big lad. Young and, according to Geelong officials, pretty useful performer. Through it goes. Carl Fetke has got his 2nd goal. Glenelg now have 17-16 to the Dogs 12-13.
Full marks to the Bays. They were at 3-quarter time. They had a 3-goal advantage, and it wasn't all that commanding a lead, but it was a good mark by Kernahan and a fine mark by Fetke, who converted Bruce McAvaney.
Ian, I'd be very interested to know how many kicks Jeff Robertson's had in this quarter and Michael Farquhar. I doubt whether Robertson's had a kick. Farquhar's been magnificent.
Robertson, none at all.
Yeah, I'd agree, Bruce. He's certainly controlled him. Robertson right out of the game, and he really was the player that kept him, or that gave him something up there. Van Dommel put it forward. Wilbur Wilson. Vivian caught. Platten, can he kick his 5th? check-sided that ball, or McFarlane missed it. Picking it up and kicking the goal for the Dogs was Collins. Peter Collins, his first goal for the day, and a belated one for the Dogs. 13-13 to the Tigers, 17-16.
Yes, I think it was a dying wag of the Bulldog tail, Peter. Platten jammed it onto his boot very quickly, and almost a big attempt, it was a big attempt by McFarlane. Farquhar couldn't get back there, and Collins had a dream run behind the pack, and he popped it through for his first. Only a very young player, Peter Collins, second match last week, and 34 disposals. What a fine game, as Bruce McAvaney told you at the beginning of the program.
Peter Carey, and I'd agree with Ian Day. A wonderful last quarter. He set it up. Free kick will be going to Northworthy. They haven't given up yet. Peter Krieg puts a high one up. Not a good kick. And Marshall gobbles it up. Play it on. He's got Tony Hall. Marshall's 14th kick. Tony Hall didn't need to run on then. Got a high tackle for his quarter. David Holst looking for Kernahan. Pryor couldn't mark it. Peter Carey still there working hard. Pryor decides to run out of bounds. Well, the Tigers are still a chance of making the 5. They'll certainly need to win all of their remaining games. McDermott. The handball to McGuinness. McGuinness, oh, he missed 12-3 by a yard. He comes back to try and make amends. 12-3 has it now over to Duthie. Back to McDermott. Can the little rover kick his fourth? Swings around onto that left boot. The ball is very high. Simon's in late. Pushes it through for a point. The Bays now have 17-17 to the Dogs, 13-13.
I think the Bay smaller players have got on top in the second half. Certainly Platten hasn't exerted the same influence. He kicked 4 goals in the first half, 3 in the second quarter. But since the half-time break, he hasn't been such a dominating player. Only 3 kicks, and that's an indication. No, none in this quarter at all. But McGuinness and co. Tony Hall's another player who's had a fine last quarter. The umpire's in the road there. In fact, kicked the ball 3 metres to help the Dogs. 17-17 to 13-13. We've had 4 minutes of time on. Very close to the final siren. And the Bays have played wonderfully well in this last quarter to extend their margin of 3 that they had at quarter time to well over 4. Or 3/4 time to over 4, and it's Bone. Connolly, he's been quiet in the second half too, elects to play on quickly. A long kick up towards Collins, thumped away from that player, and it's out of bounds on the half-forward left flank. 17-17 to 13-13. Oh. There's the siren. The Bays have won. Glenelg 17-17. Central Districts 13-13. Bruce McAvaney.
Well, I'm in the Glenelg rooms at the moment. No doubt the players will be coming down very shortly, Ian. So Glenelg now have won 7 out of their last 10 after losing their first 8 games straight. But I just had a look at who they have to play. They've got Port Adelaide, Sturt, West Adelaide and Nord coming up, so they're still 2 games behind. In fact, they're in exactly the same position as Central District. We'll have the premiership table in a moment, and we'll be able to show you the fact that Glenelg have the same points as Central and a poorer percentage. So the Bays really have a big job to do, but they do have Port Adelaide at Glenelg in a fortnight's time. It's going to be a very, very big game for them, and who knows, they might be able to win their last 4 games for the season, and if they can, what a performance it'll be. Central District in trouble now with that loss. They've also got a very hard game to road home, and so they look to be struggling. Hope you enjoyed it today and can join us for the game on Friday night from the Sydney Cricket Ground and the big replay next week at 6:30.
It's all in the game. All in the game. It's all in the game. All in the game. It's all in the name of football.
Football 83 is proudly presented by Mitsubishi Motors, Hallett Brick and British Paints.